days, I must admit. We've had some nice days.
It's been the highlight of your week.
On Monday, we went to Coco's Soul Food.
Oh.
Which is a Afro-Caribbean restaurant near us.
Oh, we're coming through the stream.
But it straddles the line between a cafe and a restaurant.
Yeah, I've been able to hear you for the last, 30 seconds. I just haven't told you.
I told you, Stu.
Ah.
Welcome, Chinny.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
9:37 is the edit point. They cut out all that nonsense with Stu abusing his daughter.
That's true.
It took me ages to find where the settings were on Skype.
Make a note of it, so next time you will know what to do. How does he not know what the different settings are?
No, what I can't understand is how it gets unset.
I don't know. Sometimes I come on and everything gets unset. I don't know. Okay,
yeah,
we're going. No.
Yes, we are.
Welcome, yo, to the veteran gamers. Stu, Chinny, and the fellas will tell you about every single game that you played this week.
Your attention, please.
Reviews and an indie pick. Stu's story time and Chinny's game breakers. Here comes Duke with the soundbite savior.
Yeah, we haven't had an indie pick in like 2 years. We really need to edit this theme song because it's factually inaccurate.
It's the veteran
No,
gamers.
I said, I am your father. Put it back on.
Switch that console off before you have to press repeat.
You gotta be that f***ing diamond in the rough. But the only way to become that diamond is by dedication, practice, and doing the shit that other people are too lazy to do.
Hello and welcome to episode 397 of the Veteran Gamers Podcast.
It's 397, and our voices are like heaven. I'm Duke.
My voice isn't like heaven.
Yeah, it is. It always is.
No, it's
yes.
Not this week.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
You have to be really careful not to make me laugh because I have a problem with my face.
Oh, hey, wow, what's happened to your face?
Oh, by the way.
Wait. We'll get to that. Names. I'm Duke.
I'm Stu.
Chinny.
All right, tell me, we're not veterans of the military or veterans of the gaming lifestyle. We broadcast
we stream on a thing and at a certain time of the week.
Face. Here comes the story time, people, because we need to hear about this face thing.
It's story time. Story time.
So I have on Wednesday I started to notice that I had a toothache. So then my mate just texted me saying, Matt from Match Reviews just texted me saying, you look like Manuel from Faulty Towers, which I don't know what's that got to do with a face. Anyway, I had a toothache on Wednesday, and like a true man, I put it off and hoped that it would go away. And it didn't go away. And then, like a true man, I ignored it and moaned about it a lot. And this morning, I woke up. I went to Ironbridge yesterday with my parents. It's a lovely place. It's an iron bridge. I don't know. And I was in agony, just wanting to jump off the bridge. And then I woke up this morning and I looked like a hamster storing things in his face. And it turns out I've got a gum infection.
No, you've possibly got an abscess, have you not?
No, it's not an abscess. It's a gum infection.
Well, you're lucky.
Well, not really, because it feels like I want to...
What is wrong with you, Stuart? Have you ever shown any compassion or sympathy for someone who's in pain? You're lucky.
Well, he is lucky because if it was an abscess, he'd probably have to have a tooth out.
Listen,
but he won't have to have a tooth out. That's a good thing.
You're not listening. Here we go.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. You two. Right. I'm the one feeling the pain, not only emotionally, physically. If this flares up, basically, I had a root canal about 4 years ago, right? And the dentist today, I had to go to the stupid dentist, and he was actually a really nice fella, and he was saying, yeah, like, I don't know, if this keeps going, you'll have to have your tooth out, and the root canal removed, because you know, this is gonna be, if it keeps happening, this is bad. But he said like he tapped the tooth, and he said it was a tapping noise because he had somebody in this morning with the same problem, and he tapped the tooth, and it was like a spongy noise, and he says he had to take the tooth out. So I'm okay, but I do look like a hamster at the moment.
I can see this picture. You do look very hamstery, and also one of your eyes is a bit bloodshot, which is a bit scary looking.
That's just because I woke up about a minute before that picture was taken. Yeah, so I'm okay now, but if I laugh, it really hurts. And
Oh dear.
my brother's been sending me pictures of squirrels with nuts in their cheeks and stuff, and showing
As you
me.
do.
And then Tara made me watch. She said, "Oh, look at this on my phone," and it was a video of a hamster stuffing stuff in his cheeks. So my immediate
so everyone-
friends and family have been
Everybody.
very, very supportive. The thing is, about 10 years ago, my brother got an abscess on his face, and I took the piss out of him so badly while he was lying in hospital. And then he got another one, and I took the piss out of him. So he's just, you know,
It's kind of payback, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
little bit of payback. Basically, when I smile, it's really, really painful. So we have to have a really unfunny show,
Okay.
We'll try.
which is probable.
It is. Most of our shows
That's-
are
we do that
unfunny.
every week.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
We have to not do or say anything funny all for like the next 2 hours.
I hear Chinny screaming in agony, like, stop!
Mm-hmm.
You see, I'll try my best not to be funny. Most of the time, I'm not funny, so it should be all good.
That's pretty good. You're pretty good at that.
It should be. It should all be fine.
So you're gonna
Now,
probably hear a very monotone. This is the most I've spoke all day.
that is funny. That's funny. That in itself is funny.
That is funny.
It is funny. Now it's funny you should say that because I've
it
got
funny?
a tooth. Yeah, it is funny because not funny, ha ha, but funny. Because I've also got a tooth issue. I've
Right.
also got a tooth, but
Y'all are
mine's not.
perpetuating stereotypes of British teeth.
I know.
I know.
But mine's not painful at the moment, but I have got concerns because about January time. It was about January. I had a
When
tooth
was
out.
it?
It was January. I had a tooth out, but the tooth next to it had a crack in it.
Okay.
Quite a substantial crack. And she said, really, you should have that one taken out as well. And I said, well, it's not really painful or anything. And there's no, I can't feel anything. So I'm just going to leave it and see what happens. Probably about 2 weeks after that, a big shard came off the side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Yeah, so a bit shard of tooth came off the side of it. So I went back to the dentist and said, look, this has come off. He said, oh, no, you'll definitely have to have that out. So I was like, right, okay. Well, it took forever. It must have taken like 2 months to get an appointment because I had to get an appointment with like the proper dental surgeon rather than my dentist. So the proper like dental surgeon from the NHS had to come down. Not just for me, he did other people, but obviously I had to be put on that list. But again, I'd felt no pain whatsoever. So I went in and he said, how has it been? I said, well, I've had no pain at all. So he had a look at it and he said, I would just leave it. He said, and see what happens. So I was like, right, okay, then, well, that's fine. And he's like, if you have any problems, just ring back. He said, but for now, I would just leave it. If you're not feeling any pain, he said, just see what happens.
You've just the last two.
Long, extravagant discussions of what happens at the end of it.
I know. So it's been
But
all
then
good.
he said, if you don't need anything,
I know,
just
I know.
leave it. You know.
And then he
this
says,
is-
hey, I was gonna say,
I know. Look, let me get to
Yes.
this. So this was 7 months ago. So I was like, it's been all good, no problems. And then yesterday, another piece of tooth fell off.
oh,
So-
oh,
So I was like, oh no.
goddamn Dennis, what the hell is wrong with you?
I know. So, but it's still not hurting. And I'm going on holiday next week. So I ain't
Never
going
mind
nowhere.
that shit. Get there before you go on holiday.
No, because I'll have to have a proper operation. And I don't want that a week
Chunks of
before.
your tooth are falling out, but
I
it's
know.
not urgent.
I'll go after I come back off my holidays.
Hey,
it's all good.
you're gonna get that bullet wound looked up? No. Well, I'm going to Tenerife next week, so I don't really
Exactly.
want to.
Well, it's going to be good food on holiday. I don't want to ruin that because I've got a big hole in my gum.
There we
No
go. It's
way.
like 30 Rock. I got it right here.
Like, Ish, don't you have things to do in your own life?
At least I don't live with my mom.
Hey, my mom's cool.
I got my life together, okay?
Holy crap, did your tooth just fall out?
That's exactly what happened.
That's y'all.
I was eating it. I was like, what's that? There's a big lump of tooth in my fingers.
Hey, Duke, have you watched Arrested Development?
Oh yeah, that's a good show.
Do you like that show?
Yeah, have you seen it?
I've started watching it.
Oh man, the best clip ever is, I'm gonna spoil it. Sorry, right now. At one point, Tobias, Tobias, the guy who's
No.
Maybe's father.
Okay, yeah.
At one point, he dresses up like Mrs. Doubtfire. He plays a character named Mrs. Featherbottom, and she sings and falls off of a balcony while singing.
What happened to his ankle? Tobias had attempted an entrance that he hoped would enchant his daughter.
That's the best thing ever. It doesn't really work if you can't see it, but
No.
Anyway, moving on. I'm glad you like that show. It's funny. The 4th season isn't nearly as good as 1, 2, and 3, but whatever. It's good.
Whatever. So, Duke, what's your tooth-related story this week?
I have no tooth-related story, but I did get hacked recently. I went back to play Wildlands, and we're not into what you're playing yet. So it'll be on my
Maybe
list.
the hacker saved you the trouble of playing that game, because
I like that game. Quit hating. Anyway, I'm probably gonna like Recore too. So I went
No,
in.
you're not.
When I got
Stop being
into
delusional.
there were all these people on my friends list like ready to queue up. Like, you can invite this person. They're not online now, but they'll see the invitation when you get back. And I was like, wait a minute. Since when do I have friends on Uplay? Hey, you didn't let me finish. You're being an asshole. No. Yeah. And so I was
every
like,
laugh is like a stab in my face. Thank you very much.
Good. Keep it up, dude. Keep it up, dude. Come on. Keep going.
But there were all these Italian names, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And then I look at the chat log, and it's just filled with like, well, I have these Steam accounts, and I have this Origin account, and here's these login info for Uplay. I was like, oh my God, they've been trading stuff on my account. What the? They hacked me, but they didn't change the password. What stupid hackers are these? What the hell is wrong with people? So I changed the password right away. Uplay has this 2-step verification thing, so I enrolled in that. And then I'm like Mr. Goody Two-Shoes, so I need to contact Uplay to let them know about this. And so I went to their website, and the only way you can contact them is to send an email, which I didn't want to just do that and leave it because I didn't know what kind of documentation they might want. Because I also wanted to make it clear I wasn't doing it. So if it traced back to my account, I'd be like, I want to make it clear it wasn't me, yo. So there's this live chat. So I start the live chat thing, and it's like, you're in queue number 75. And I was like, ah. So I had to sit there, and I was playing games and stuff, but I had to keep switching back and checking to see where I was in the queue. And eventually I was able to chat with a dude, and he was like, oh, do you take a screenshot? And I'm like, yeah. So I did. And yeah, it was just really weird. So I'd never had that happen before, but I had to switch all my passwords, and yeah.
Can I ask you a very quick question? I'm sure that it's going to be a no, but do you use that password that you used on the anywhere else?
Nope.
Well, that's good then. You're fine.
Yes, it's good. And also let people know that I've changed my name on Steam once again. I was
Joey Joe Jr.
Right, I was Joey Joe Jr. and I've been Duke Scath. But I had an idea today for a new name, so I switched it to a name from 30 Rock. And I don't know if they actually say it here, but I'll play a little bit of this.
You should just smack that Liz in the mouth.
So Liz Lemon is at one point talking to her coworker Kenneth in the bathroom, but she's in the men's room because she really had to pee, and the women's room was being cleaned. So she goes in the men's room, and he goes in there, and he's upset with her, but she doesn't want to let him know that it's her. So she's like, yo, bro, why don't we just go to the bathroom in silence? And he's like, all right, I'm sorry, sir. I'm just having trouble with my boss. And she's like, well, bro, whatever. Just let it out. And he's like, oh, thanks. What's your name, by the way? And she's like, I'm Kenneth. She's like, why did I say that? And then he's like, I'm Kenneth, too. What's your last name? Kenneth. And she's looking around, and she looks in the toilet, and she goes, Kenneth, toilet hole. So is
that your new Steam name?
My new Steam name is Kenneth Toilet Hole, because at the end of the episode, they have this little. At one point, Liz goes, "We should all go get dinner at some point." She's pointing at herself like, "What's wrong with me? Why did I say that?" And then at the end of the episode, they have this little sketch where she's dressed up like Kenneth Toilet Hole.
Bro, where's Liz?
You didn't see her. She just left.
Oh, I gotta go feed the meter.
She keeps switching into Kenneth Toilet Hole and then back into her own clothing. So that's the fun story about me being Kenneth Toilet Hole.
What you been playing?
What you been playing? What you been playing?
I'd like to thank Chinny for playing on the stream when I'm talking about getting hacked. The worst movie about computers ever made.
I really want to watch it.
Hackers.
I really want to.
Sucks.
I really want to watch it so bad now.
It's worth seeing because it's so bad. It's funny. Like
There's
it is
a bit
worth.
where he like snatches a floppy disk out of his hand. Like
the whole movie, you can tell nobody who worked on that movie has ever done anything with computers beyond like check their email.
Yeah. No.
It's ridiculous.
That
You know,
movie
because
looks
like.
awesome.
It's totally ridiculous. Because the movie Swordfish has some horrible representation. Every time a movie shows someone coding, they're like...
It's always like...
Yeah, and they're like... The visuals are flying around them, and they're really intense. And that's not what coding is like. Coding is hours and hours of staring at a screen, and maybe you have music on, but probably not, and you're just drooling on yourself. But they have to make it exciting for the movies. So Hackers is the best violator of that in the world.
Yeah, that an enemy of the state. You remember
Never
that?
Will
There you
Smith.
go. Yeah.
There's a bullshit moment in that movie.
I can't remember. It's that long since
Sounds like
I've
there would
seen
be a
it.
lot of.
I can't be asked. Let's talk about games.
Yeah, let's talk about some games.
Go ahead.
Go on, Duke, you can start. What have you been playing?
We'll start. Why not? So
Why not?
last week I had started Tacoma, and then it took me about 20 minutes after.
I told you we're near the end.
And I finished it, and I gotta say, the ending of that, it wasn't very satisfying.
No, I'm surprised because you gave me.
That ending is awesome.
It's not.
Really magnificent ending. It is.
It's all right.
Well, I didn't know what was gonna happen. That's just me. And so,
No, I didn't know what was gonna happen, but I didn't feel it was
You
as.
just talk amongst yourselves. I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
eat
we'll
some
talk
crisps.
amongst ourselves. I thought it was. I thought it was okay.
Are we gonna have spoilers, or we do it afterwards?
No, we can do spoilers later. But I didn't. From a feelings point of view, I didn't think it was as well. Good God, Chinny. I didn't think it was. You could mute your mic. How about that? How can you eat with a sore gum like you've
I'm
got?
eating on the wrong side.
Okay.
Trying to not hear this, Chinny?
I know.
Sorry,
I
I
know.
might.
It's,
I might
it's
not
hard
mute
not to hear it.
I'm sorry. I'll mute myself.
Yes, mute yourself. There you go.
Yes.
Yes.
Pricks telling me to mute.
Shit. Now,
You're doing a good job of not making yourself laugh, you idiot.
there you go. I don't know. I don't feel like it was as all-encompassing as Gone Home somehow.
Of course not. I think that there was never going to be a way for them to get close to what Gone Home hit.
You see, and the other issue I had, and I mentioned because I've been on another show this week, and I talked about this game on that show, and the other issue I had, it was almost like, let's take one of every single stereotype and put them all on the ship together.
I mean, right? Okay, it is a very Star Trek cast in that sense. We have
it's not realistic. It's not. It's like, let's have a black person, let's have a lesbian, let's have an Asian person. It's like, let's just have one of everything.
Okay, that's fair, I suppose. But I mean, whatever. Like, do you feel that way when it's all white guys in a cast?
No, but I don't. But when you've got one of it, it's almost too much. It's like have a short person, a fat person, a thin person, a tall person. It wasn't even just. It was.
It's too representative of the human family. I hate it.
No, but it was unrealistic because if you had a real life space station, you wouldn't have one of everything.
I'm inclined to believe you that you're right, but on the other hand, it doesn't bother me really. I mean, yes, it does stand out, and it's kind of annoying that it was just sort of patronizing in terms of we're going to have different body types, we're going to have different sexualities, we're going to have this, we're going to have that.
We're going to have different everything.
But it doesn't really bother. That's not important.
No, it doesn't, but it is noticeable.
Fine. the point that I would make is that I think that I feel like they could have definitely gone into some more depth with certain parts of the story, and I felt like there was a lot I wanted to know at the end of it. And maybe I don't know. I doubt they'll do DLC, huh?
I doubt it. But yeah, I totally agree. I think it could have definitely been fleshed out more.
Yeah, it's one of those rare instances where I think it was a little too short for my money.
Yeah. An hour and 45 minutes is very, very short, isn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, whatever. Like, I'm very satisfied with the story. I think, like I said, I thought it did a really good job at the end. There's a Simpsons reference, so that's great. I just feel like they raced through the story a little bit in terms of some of the stuff that I wanted to know more about the background.
So. Yeah, I'm sure there's more stuff to find because I don't know how long your full playthrough was. Mine was an hour and 45 minutes.
I think I went longer than that. I think it was like 2.5 hours for me, something like that.
Yeah, so I'm sure that
I went through and like I read every little file I could open and stuff. So
that's what I mean. I think there's stuff, maybe more stuff, and I did like the older stuff. You know, where it was like 4 months ago, and it was someone playing the guitar or whatever it was, just to fill in some backstory stuff.
I'll be honest. I felt like that stuff was good, but I don't know. I guess I either want it to be chronological or I just want it to be a little more comprehensive. And in other words, if you had to access those sorts of things as a way to get a code or as a way to, fill in part of a puzzle, I think that would be really cool. And I think there's a good use for it there. As it is, it feels like as soon as it says like 3 years ago, I'm just like, okay, this is obviously just for the sake of mood. I'm not going to pay very close attention.
Yeah, because because at one point I thought that had something to do to move the story on, but it didn't have anything to do with moving the story on.
Right. And then there's the whole thing about, like, for me, and maybe I'm just stupid, but it's harder to keep the story straight when you're constantly jumping back and forward in time like that. So that kind of bugged me a little bit. Now,
I kind of like that because it gave you a chance to recap on stuff that you might have missed the first time around. So I didn't mind that too much.
I'm trying to figure out what happened on this station. I don't need to be constantly shifting around in time like Billy Pilgrim. Hey-oh, there's a little Kurt Vonnegut reference for people. You're welcome. Somebody write in and tell me that you got that, please.
What I did like, though, was I was always, when you were in one part of it, and obviously, you have to follow different people to complete each level.
Yeah.
And you have to obviously interact with them at the right point in time.
Yep.
What I quite liked about it was when you first start the scene, because it basically plays out a scenario, then you have to start rewinding and following people around. I was always like wondering, once I obviously knew the mechanics, wondering what the other people were up to. And obviously that's what you found out, which was kind of cool, because I was like, oh, I wonder what they're doing right now. But I guess I'll find that out in a minute.
And it makes sense that, I mean, they do a good job of being efficient in that way. In other words, if you see Mr. Green, I don't remember any of their names, but, they're all different colors for the sake of, and that's good because that helps you keep it straight in your head when you're experiencing these puzzles. The puzzle of the story is the only puzzle you have to really deal with. Mr. Green goes in the other room for half of the recording. It's never the case that he goes in the other room and then like he just sits there and going to the bathroom or whatever.
There's always something else going on.
Right, and it's worth your time to go find out what he was doing when the other two were talking in the other room or whatever. So that's good. I like that because they respect the time of the player, which is nice.
Yeah. There's no filler, there's obviously no filler because it's only an hour and 45 minutes long. So
you could have filler in that, but I think, these people know how to tell a story. They know how to create a world. This space station is a very well-made world. They think of, they make the bathrooms, they show the, snack bags that people are eating out of and the drink bags and the instant noodles. And then there's, there's like curry packets and stuff, and it's just really individualized. And I love bookshelves because I think the botanist guy, he has a history of Tibet because his family comes from Tibet. At one point, there's a letter about how he wishes the company would show, or maybe the government or somebody would show respect for the massacres in Tibet, which they allude to. And then he's got Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is an awesome book by Philip K. Dick, which is about AI and,
Yeah, well, that's what Blade Runner's based on, isn't it?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
And he's got Infinite Jest on his shelf, which is just, I mean, that's a really important book by David Foster Wallace. So I was just really impressed by those little details and lots of others along the way as well.
Yeah, no, I think I liked. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've got some criticisms about the gender and the sexual stereotyping and all that kind of stuff, and obviously body type stereotyping. There's a numerous. Well, it kind of is.
No, it's not. It's diversity for the sake of diversity, and that I will.
Yeah, I guess.
Whatever.
But they are all stereotypes.
They're not stereotypes. What are you talking?
I think they are.
If they were stereotypes,
Anyway.
the lesbian would be like, "Hey, what's going on? I love some women."
Now it's funny you should say that, because when it shows the actual photograph of her, she does look like a stereotypical lesbian. If I'm being really honest.
Well,
she's quite butch. She's got short blonde hair. She's pretty stereotypical of what you would expect a lesbian to look like.
Maybe what you would expect.
And I've met many lesbians, and they don't all look like that.
See, I have a lot of lesbian friends, and you're right. They don't all look like that.
No, they don't all look like that.
Of course not. Nobody all looks like
Why do
anything.
you know so many lesbians?
Well, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but I don't know.
Unfortunately, oh my
It's not
God.
unfortunately.
Oh,
No.
Oh,
I don't know.
Here we go.
Not unfortunately. But I don't know. I just do.
Chinny is in a lot of pain right now. I can tell.
I know, yeah.
So can I ask a question about Tacoma, please?
Yes, please. Let's get off this.
Yeah, let's get off that subject. Go on.
Because I know you sort of you're homophobic, Stu. So anyway,
Yeah, I'm totally homophobic.
when you shoot someone in the head, how many points do you get?
Yeah, that definitely doesn't happen.
Sorry, there's no shooting of anybody in the head.
Yeah,
Right. Okay. So
Any shooting in the head and gone home? No.
when you find out that they all died because I don't know somebody spunked in the microwave, how devastated were you?
It wasn't the microwave. Though.
Yeah, it wasn't the microwave.
So I'm giving spoilers.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. For
Anything you want to say about Tacoma, Stu, or can we move on?
No, like I say, I thought it was pretty good. I don't think it was as good as Gone Home or as even other walking type simulators. that I've played.
Pilch actually made me laugh, which means that he hurt me immensely because he just said in
know.
the chat, they're not
I
all
see.
lesbians, they just told Stu that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. It's all right. It was better than all right, I guess. But I am with you.
I'd say top 5 walking simulators.
Yeah, I'm with you though, Duke, on this. That value for money wise, it does feel a bit light.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that they put so much time into making the world and the documents and all that the actual experience and the gameplay is not nearly as it doesn't have the depth that it should have.
Yeah, and I would agree. It does feel like it's not quite finished somehow. That there could have been more to it than they gave you.
Definitely could have been more to it. I agree with that.
Yeah, but other than that, it's good. Like the voice acting's great. The scripting's
Yes.
pretty good.
Yes.
Graphically and art style looks great. So it's all right.
I played some more Rocket League this week,
Oh.
and yeah, and there's new stuff. So shut up, Stu.
Shut up! Shut up!
First of all, I made it to Rocketeer. So yay! I have ascended to the highest of the time-based rankings.
I thought you've been there. Haven't you been there already though?
No, I was at Legend for a very.
All right. Okay.
Now I am a Rocketeer. And I didn't have Legend on my, when you play, you can choose whether to display what your time-based ranking is, whether you're a master or an expert or a, semi-pro or whatever. And I didn't put it on there before because a lot of times when I would put Legend on there, people would make fun of me. Like, you've played this game so much and you still are at this level. You suck. What's wrong with you? And it was one more thing for people to be nasty about. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just not even going to bother having that on there. But what I've found is, since I've had Rocketeer on there, it's been like 2 days. Nobody said anything about it. And B, I kind of think it might give me a psychological advantage because every time I've gone up against somebody in Rocket League who is a Rocketeer, I think, oh God, this person's going to be good. And then they tend to be good. So I think that it might be a way of kind of intimidating people a little bit by being like, I'm a Rocketeer. And they might be like, and that might give me a little edge. Now, I don't know, maybe not. But I like to think
Kind of
that's
like when I get my dick out at an orgy.
So, Ginny, can I ask you, Ginny? Can you do the Love Island trick where you put your willy in a pint glass and it touches the bottom? Then is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like I need one of those yard glasses.
And that's when all the women go, "Oh, I just remembered I'm a lesbian. Goodbye."
Yeah.
There you go.
The other thing that happened in Rocket League news is, and I don't know when this happened, if it was a recent update or not, because I don't remember hearing anything about it, but you can now trade in the top tier stuff that you couldn't trade in before. So when you play a game of Rocket League, they give you toppers and antennas and stuff, and hard hats and halos and stuff, right? Well, when you get 5 of those crappy things that you don't want to use, you can trade them in for a second tier. I guess it's like common and then uncommon and then rare and then very rare, whatever. At the top, you eventually then will get things like cartoon smoke or hearts as your rocket trail, or frostbite is one that shoots icicles out of your back of your car. And for a long time, you couldn't trade anything on that top tier in let's call it the exotic tier or whatever it is, right? And every once in a while I would go, because I would end up trading the smaller stuff and getting, because once you get 5 common things, you trade them in for 1 uncommon thing. You get 5 uncommon things, you can trade those in for 1 rare thing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So I would keep trading up until I ended up with like 10 cartoon smoke trails, right? And I would have them and I would be like, can't do anything with these. So when it was time to trade things in, don't show me Hellfire, please. That just breaks my heart. We'll get to that. So
I literally have no idea what I'm showing you.
It's okay. Anyway, so I would try to trade in the top tier stuff, but you couldn't. And I would just click it every once in a while just to make sure you still can't trade it in. And then this week I was like randomly clicking, and then it let me, and I was like, what? And then I traded in 5 of them, and it brought me, there's now a new tier above that. And I was like, oh my God, I can get more exotic things. Yes.
So if that's, wait a minute. So if that's the exotic tier, what's above exotic?
Well, exactly. There's exotic, and then there's import, and then there's black market and whatever. And I don't know. I don't think you can trade for black market stuff, but the black market is where they have the goal explosions, which is what I really want.
Why is it pretending to be something that's like a bit dodgy?
Because that's the way people, they have to give it some way to talk about how rare it is. You can only add very on the end of it so many times before it becomes stupid. But here's the thing. Last time I checked, before my vacation or my holiday, the goal explosions were like 20 keys for any of them. Now, the ones that people don't really want so much are coming down in price. So there's 4. There's Hellfire, which is the most sought after one. That's where this big flaming skull comes out of the goal and it's very impressive. That's the most sought after one. Then there's the least sought after one, from what I can tell, is Sub-Zero. And that's where the goal kind of freezes and then breaks into ice chunks.
Yeah, it's not so impressive though, is he?
Not as impressive, no. That's going for like 12 keys. The Hellfire is going for like 25 or 20. Sub-Zero is 12. Then there's the fireworks and I don't remember what the electricity one is called, but the electroshock, I think. So anyway, those are like 15 keys, I think. So I don't know. I'm happy about that because it means that they're becoming more and more available, which is awesome because it means that before long I might be able to afford one. Yay! And then I'll have a really cool explosion when I score a goal, as opposed to the pretty cool explosion I have right now, which I should be happy with, but what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
I hate this. I hate this.
I hate it too, but I have to confess that like I want the cool things that they're offering.
You're insane.
I know, but you see, look, wait a minute, Chinny. You can't complain that you hate this after you was giving it the okay in PUBG.
No, like I just don't bother with it.
I know, but you're saying you hate it, but it's like you seem to feel like
no,
it's
like,
acceptable
because we didn't have
you
to
don't
talk
give a
about
shit.
it. But now one of us is into it and has to talk about it.
I
Imagine
know.
like
that's a problem.
If I got into PUBG crates and then started going, oh, I have to trade this fucking Where's Waldo top with his fucking pair of boots and fingerless gloves, you'd be like, this is the dumbest shit. Now I have to
that is true. I still think it's the
get
dumbest
all
shit.
into it and like be like, oh yeah, I need an explosion with a skull. This isn't Rocket League that you're playing anymore.
No,
This is a different
no.
game. This is a fucking
This is-
Excel sheet.
Because when I'm playing Rocket
Let's
League,
give them my money
Skullfire to
game.
come out and be like,
This is an
It's-
Excel sheet with a Rocket
It is.
League background.
It is.
This game is not Rocket League. You're playing a different game. You're
Yeah,
fucked in the
Duke
head.
is now playing. I need 20 keys to get this. I need 15 keys for that. That's what you're
I
playing.
said 12.
Well, however many keys. No, you said it's 20 odd for the skulls.
Yeah, but I'm not going to get the skull, am I?
Yeah, you say that now.
You say, hey,
And then when
look,
you get to 12
well,
keys,
he
you'll be like, oh,
spends,
I
like,
need another
58
8 keys.
58 quid on it or some shit.
Exactly.
I still haven't. I traded in some. I mean, that's the thing.
Oh, Duke.
I wanted to move on, but y'all kept bringing it up. Everything I've got for this game, I've gotten by just trading stuff that I already
Slippery slope,
have. I
though,
haven't-
Duke. It's a slippery slope.
Well, it's been like that for like 6 months. So if I haven't slipped,
Doesn't
it's
matter.
not that. Is
They
it?
only need you to slip once,
You do.
and then they win.
You're on
I
the
bought a
way.
new game this week, so let's play.
yeah.
Where's the song? Guess the
know.
rate.
Let's play. Guess the game that Ginny's played and finished this week.
Toilet Hole Edition.
Yeah. So did you
as
finish
you all
this game?
Well, in a way, yes.
Oh.
As you all know, I am obsessed with crafting games.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are.
Yes. So anytime a crafting game shows up in my Steam feed, I will take a look. And this week, a game called Kingdoms came up in my feed because, well, I won't bore you with why it came up in my feed. Anyway, it appeared in front of me, and I said, that looks interesting. So I took a look. I watched a bit of a Let's Play, and I said, that looks good enough to merit $10 to give it a shot. Let's try it. So I paid $10 for early access, and I played it. So here's Kingdoms is based on, I mean, it's trying to be Minecraft, but more realistic. So it's sort of Rust-ish, and
Skyrim looks like Skyrim.
it looks like it's trying to be between Rust and Skyrim. It's all about building a village. But here's the thing.
It looks like it's about running around with a well.
Well, he's trying to place the well, isn't he?
Well, like as far away as possible. What's he doing?
He has to place it in a certain place, and then that will create a settlement node, and then he can whatever. The point is, this game is distinguishing itself by having NPCs. Now, so far as I know, no other crafting game has really done a good job with NPCs except as enemies.
Yeah, I was going to say Conan has them, doesn't he? Well, only as enemies, I guess.
As enemies, exactly, right. So this has friendly NPCs. So I guess that's the way I could describe it. And then the idea is you build a settlement or you wait for, and because the NPCs are pretty industrious on their own, you can wait for NPCs to create their own settlement. And then you can join their settlement by building a house within it. And then you can help build it up and, you know, craft stuff and go hunting and gather berries. And you have to watch your food level and you can go mining and there are caves to explore and all the rest of it.
Oh, Duke's going to be very happy. Trees fall over.
I know. It's exciting.
Oh, my God. I've just seen this on the screen. I'm like, Duke is very happy.
Attention, listeners. I never really cared that much about it. I guess I mentioned it once that I prefer that, but it really isn't a big deal at all anymore.
Oh, you made a big thing out of it at the time.
Well, I regret doing that. Anyway, the point is, this game has a lot going for it. It obviously looks very good. The NPCs are I mean, it's in early access, so that's part of my review, is that I'm reviewing this not as a finished game, but as an early access game. So,
do games ever get finished these days?
There was one that just came out. It was early access for a long time, and it just came out.
You.
Anyway, I don't blame you.
We don't believe
Mass
you.
Effect Andromeda was in early access.
I mean, you're right. A lot of times they don't ever get out of early access, and this is apparently one guy doing this, so maybe it won't ever come out of early access.
The moon looks like it's 20 feet away in the sky. It looks like it's 20. It looks like a big beach ball on a string. It's stupid.
Here's the thing: the mechanics are not very good. The hunting is a nightmare. Swinging your equipment is slow, and it just. I want to like this game, but I can't because the aesthetics of it.
It's a bag of shite.
It's very unpolished.
It's very
So-
shite.
I gave it a shot. I will go back to it in another 6 months, as I do to all these games.
The avatar that you play as looks like a blow-up doll.
All the NPCs in some ways look kind of weird. The graphics aren't great. I'm not gonna. I mean that's the thing, is that the world graphics look great. The animals are fine. The people look a little sketchy. Oh, whatever. It is what it is.
People are hard to model, I think.
Well, those people do look sketchy.
I mean, even in Skyrim and Fallout, they look fucking weird.
Well, they don't look as bad as Oblivion, do they?
No.
No.
I had kickstarted the game Dwarrows a long time ago. This is a few months back that I saw a Kickstarter for this, and I thought, ooh, that looks awesome. I will pay to help that game get going. And this week, they sent out the alpha codes. And I was like, yes, finally. So I played some Dwarrows alpha. Now,
What
I'm
is
pretty sure.
Dwarrows?
Just sounds weird. It's like a mix
It's a
between
weird
dwarf and arrows.
I expect that's exactly why they chose that name, yes.
No, I reckon that's the first time they've ever had that pointed out to them, Duke.
Yeah, yeah. So don't tell me, it's a dwarf game with bows and arrows. Is that what this is?
Yeah, I haven't gotten to the bows and arrows yet. But here's the thing. It's really cute. This has kind of the opposite problem, or the opposite, in terms of the visuals, this game is wicked. Like, it's really good. It's very stylized. It knows
It looks
exactly.
like a Disney cartoon almost.
It does look like a Disney cartoon. That's what I mean. It's so good in terms of how it looks. The gameplay is not very deep yet because it's alpha, right? Like, they've only just started on it. But I'll tell you this, it's a lot more along. It's a lot further along than I thought it would be. Like, there's a tutorial in it. So
Yeah,
I
it
think
looks
that's
polished. It looks like it's got stuff going for it.
Yeah, exactly. And nobody has played it yet much, so there's not much streaming. I couldn't even find footage of it to give Chinny for the stream. I just had to tell him, here's the trailer, play this over and over again. But it's cool because you have these three characters and you can shift between them. And so it's kind of like GTA 5. It's gathering resources, it's building tents for the elves who live in the forest, and you're going to want to bring them into your little castle area, and there's a lot of exploration to do. And I think it's very well done so far, even though it's not done. I think it's got a lot of promise, and I'm looking forward to playing this because I haven't even exhausted what's there yet. So yeah, I just think it's I'm giving it a big thumbs up. It's one to watch.
It's crafting though, right?
It is crafting, but it's crafting a town. Like, there's a reason to craft beyond just, oh, look, I made a house.
Hey.
It's about attracting people to your town, and then eventually you'll be able to, build amusement places for them.
Can you build a strip joint in your
Yeah, can you build that?
Build a strip joint. But maybe that's in an upcoming update. Who knows?
Because that would attract people.
I think you could.
Can
Are they gonna
you
be people you really want around?
can you build
Yes.
a cafe where you can sell space cake?
I don't think so.
It's a bit rubbish then.
Yeah.
Mm,
But
It
But
had
it does-
promise until
it
that
has
point.
city management element. I think it's really well done, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it.
it looks like to me Orcs Must Die, but it's
Yeah,
not
it's
the
got a little of
same.
that.
But it looks like that game.
There's no dying involved. It's a peaceful world. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
but look, every world's peaceful until Chinny gets there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then shit goes down and it's
goes
not
down.
I'm gonna
peaceful
craft
anymore.
guillotine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chinny be like, corporal punishment, heads on spikes, sorted.
Yeah.
Now who
Now
wants to
it-
move my village? Nobody.
Exactly.
Speaking of town management, I actually went back to Banished because I know I had bad mouthed it a couple weeks ago. Oh, it's so hard. Rah. And I was thinking about it, and I looked at it in my Steam library, and I was like, okay, what's the problem with that game? Well, I didn't make enough houses, and I didn't plant enough food. So now I'm doing a playthrough where I'm like, keep the houses coming, keep the food going, and everything else can wait. And so far, it's doing very well, and it's yeah, whatever. That's Banished. And the last game that I want to talk about is Ballistic Overkill, because this was on sale on Steam yesterday, I think. So
What the fuck is Ballistic Overkill?
it's $7. That's what it is.
Yeah, but that doesn't tell. Look, do you know what?
He
Dude?
knows
You're
that
a
doesn't tell
sucker.
us.
You're a sucker for games on sale and keys in Rocket League.
No, I have never bought a key. Have you heard what I've said?
No, you want the keys though. You might not have bought one
Yes.
yet, but you're virgin it. You're virgin on it.
I'll buy games on sale, but I don't buy keys. So whatever. Anyway, the point is this: Ballistic Overkill. Hey, remember when Call of Duty 4 introduced multiplayer in that new way?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this game kind of takes us back to those days because it's class based, but they're all shooters. There's no healer, there's no medic, there's no engineer. It's just, are you a tank? Are you a? I think there's a stealth hero. There's a so
it's back to like sniper,
exactly,
sort of heavy,
exactly
that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, and it's just there's team deathmatch, there's King of the Hill. The first time I played it, I could only get into like Chinese and South American servers. I don't know if it's because when I was playing or what.
There's always a stereotype in these games, isn't there?
There is terrible.
So anyway, the point is that there was a lot of lag when I played it the first time. I was like, this game kind of sucks. And I was like, oh, wait, it's because of the lag.
Is that because you were getting shot all the time?
It's because I was shooting someone and then it would only register like 5 seconds later.
Oh, my God. How many times have you heard that excuse?
Lag switch.
Lag switch. Yeah. Yeah.
So the point is, the second time and the third and fourth and fifth, I got into North American servers, and it's a lot better when you have a decent server. Yeah, and it's the maps are pretty small. The player base is not huge.
So
There's not a lot to it.
It's like Call of Duty 2 by the looks of it, but with modern weapons.
Right. It's very stripped down, but that's great. It's worth $7, and it's been fun. I don't think I'll play it a whole lot, but I'm definitely getting my money's worth. So, hadn't never heard about it. Don't have a lot to say about it. It's good.
So is there a big player base? Are there plenty of matches, people playing?
No, not really. I mean, there's probably like 200 to 300.
So he's got that going for it.
Don't you find it amazing that like there's so many video games in the world? All right, there's always like somebody in them. Do you just find that weird?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So whatever. Like, I mean, I don't know. I just think it is what it is. Like, it's cute. It's fun. I'm having a good time with it. I'm getting a little better. I'm learning the maps because that's always, part of it. And yeah, the thing is, look, I think a game like this has potential to be attractive because it's stripped down. It
reminds me, what was that shooter game you used to love and we used to ribby about it? That multiplayer game that you used to play. Section fucking 8. That's what this reminds me of, kind of.
Talking about.
Terrible
Section
game.
8 is huge and open. This is all in shopping malls and stuff. And
I don't know.
So anyway, I like Ballistic Overkill. It's fun. It's silly. It's not anything to write home about, but it looks good. It plays well. The guns feel.
I like the fact that it's very stripped back and just.
It is, and that's the thing is that it loads quickly and the rounds come and go, and it's exactly what it advertises. Nothing more, nothing less.
Oh, by the way, I knew there was something I'd say. I don't know what's just made me think of this. I think it's because of Call of Duty, but a BMW came past me today on the motorway, and its number plate was F1 FAH.
What is that?
What does it spell? If you change the 1 to an I. I don't.
FIFA?
FIFA. And I was like, I couldn't believe I was driving. Like, I so wanted to take a picture of it.
FIFA.
Because it even spells like we say it. FIFAH. FIFA. I was just like, brilliant.
You know why? It's because somebody already had FIFA, and so they, can I have FIFAH? No, that's also used. What if I make the I a 1? Yeah, okay.
It doesn't work. Yeah, I don't know if you know how personalized plates work, but they don't work that way. It's just literally what comes out of the DVLA.
Well, then it's not personalized, is it?
Well, you see...
if we're going to talk about personalized number plates, I'm going to leave the show.
I know, yeah. Well...
I will too.
It is, but it isn't. You see, what happens... Just to give you a very quick, very quick how it works.
We have taken a very quick... You must have no interest in hearing this right now. Tell me later.
Okay, I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later.
Okay. I'm done talking.
Are you done? Yes. Well, I'll do mine very quickly because I've
left the show.
I know, yeah. I haven't played a whole lot of stuff this week. But I have played The Evolution of Trust, which Duke sent to us to play.
Did he send it to me?
Yeah, you sent it to Ginny as well, but he obviously didn't play it.
Nope.
That's okay. I sent it to you like 3 weeks ago, to be fair.
Yeah, I played it the other week and I forgot about it last week. So I did play it about 2 weeks ago. Probably the same week you sent it me, to be fair.
For those who don't know, this is a web interactive thing. It's kind of a game. It's designed to demonstrate the nature of trust using the prisoner's dilemma, which is a really cool.
The prisoner's dilemma. That's just about what I was gonna say.
Yes.
This is basically all the 999 games, etc. That's what that is totally based around.
No, I hate it.
No, I think that's why I think you would like it, because that's basically the premise of the game. So the game, or the meta game, should I say, within those games is the prisoner's dilemma. Who do you trust? Who do you not trust? Can you cooperate, or do you want to cheat? Okay. So it's basically that. So it's kind of funny because that's basically what this is, but a very small version of that.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's good. It was interesting, but
to play the idiot in the room, what's the prisoner's dilemma?
Okay, so the prisoner's dilemma in a nutshell is this. You've seen a version of it in various. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll do it the easy way. Dark Knight Returns, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're on the boat, right? There's the
It
good
makes the
people.
pencil disappear. Voila.
Exactly. No, they're on the boat, right? There's the good people, and then there's the criminals on the boat, right?
Yep.
And they each have a detonator that will blow up the other person's boat.
Yep.
Right? If they both press it, they both die.
Mhm.
If one presses it and the other does not, then the other boat blows up. Same in reverse. And if nobody does it, then the Joker will blow them both up. Well, that's a version of the prisoner's dilemma, right? Do you cheat? Do you hurt the other person in order to get advantage yourself, or do you try to cooperate?
Do you hurt the other person to advantage yourself instantly, without thought? Just do that.
Chinny is what's the character's name?
I can't remember now.
The fucking awesome guy that survives. That's what I am.
Awesome guy that survives.
But you don't. That's the trouble.
In the classic game, it's not about dying. It's just about you in the classic version of the prisoner's dilemma, you would go free and your friend would get 3 years in prison.
Awesome.
Whereas if you cooperated, you'd each get 1, and if both of you cheated, then if your friend sold you out, then you'd both get 3 years or 2 years in prison as well, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but
It's
the
like
point of this
Golden
game
Balls.
is right. Golden Ball, exactly. Golden Balls is exactly like it, right?
It's Golden Balls, isn't it?
It is Golden Balls, yeah. And I know about that only because of a podcast called Radio Lab, which talked about it.
Yeah.
The thing that this little game does, though, is that it shows that when you play just once, a lot of people will say, "Oh yeah, I'll cheat," right? But then the question is, what happens if you know you're going to play with that person again? Because they're probably going to try to cheat as well, and then you end up having a really hard time because nobody trusts you.
But this is, I mean, and I hate to keep saying this, but this is exactly what Zero Time Dilemma does.
Okay.
Yeah, or Zero Escape, Zero Time Dilemma, because obviously you played the game more than once, so you know what other players in the game did last time. Yeah. So that obviously has an influence of how you decide to go the next time you do it.
I'll tell you, that's
it's very good.
It's said that makes me at all interested in that game, Stu. So okay.
It is amazing, honestly, and the way they do it is just brilliant in all 3 games. So yeah, it's very cleverly done. But yeah, that's exactly the premise of that game. That's the whole premise. So yeah, well, there is a lot of other stuff in the story, etc. But that is the game.
Stu,
and
I want to do the Stuart Fowler dilemma, right?
Go on.
Where it doesn't matter what game me and Duke talk about, it always goes back to a game that you played about 10 years ago.
Can I just say this is a game I played? Could you just say this was on my played games that I'm talking about what I'm playing?
Like the fucking 9.
Can I just say that this is the games I'm playing?
Hey,
and it's similar to
I'm
another
talking about
game
a different
I've played.
one, like a different one.
Yeah, but it's similar to it. It's just a comparison.
Oh wait.
I got another point to the argument. Fuck you.
I also didn't even mention the fact that I got a new controller. There's the box for it. It's an Xbox One controller. Because my Xbox 360 controller died.
It's a great controller. It's a bit smaller than you're used to, but you'll get used to it. It's a great controller.
That's what his wife said. Anyway, or what he said to his wife, should I say? Anyway, so yeah, Evolution of Trust is worth a play. It's kind of interesting. Yes, obviously talked about Tacoma, and I got a new game this week.
No, you didn't.
I did. I bought a brand
No,
new
you
game.
didn't.
Literally just released, hot off the press, which is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Fuck me.
Oh,
If there's a game that has Stuart Fowler written all over it,
yes.
Just the name of it though, not because the game itself looks kind of interesting. I'm curious to know what you think.
It's extremely interesting.
It looks like Heavenly Sword, but she painted her face blue instead of red. It's exactly the same.
Not really.
No, it's not really, but you know.
Not really at all. I've got to say, and I said this on the other podcast I went on, which was the Boss Wave this week. This, for me, is the best facial animation of a character I have ever seen in any game ever.
Wow.
And the reason being, and I don't know what it is, but they've got the eyes right. The eyes don't look dead.
It's the window to the soul.
I know. I don't know what it is, but they've made it. It looks right. It is the nearest to Uncanny Valley I've come across in any game ever. And that's on my PC, which doesn't really. I'm only on sort of medium settings. But it's the eyes. I don't know what it is. They've got them good.
Stop whining about minor aesthetic details.
But it's important for the premise of the game and the subject matter that the sort of focus.
Eyes.
Yeah, because
people's eyeballs.
Well, it is important because the story centers around mental illness front and center.
Okay.
And obviously, a lot of mental illness is in the eye.
That's dumb. When do you slice somebody's head off?
There is that. There is fighting and combat. So don't worry.
Better not slicing head off in a game called Hellblade.
You do get a big sword.
That would be awesome if the town was just called Hellblade. It's like, oh, welcome to Hellblade.
Hellblade. We were named after some Vikings when they raped all our families, but we're okay. We're a lovely place, and it doesn't really reflect.
Raped all our families.
Why don't you change the name of the town? Listen, I'm not the mayor here. I run a shop in Hellblade.
We don't like trouble here in Hellblade.
So what's the name of your shop? I punch children. Right.
Sorry,
Anyway,
Stu, you were saying about the
Are
game.
you quite? Do you know? I didn't do this when you were talking about.
Bullshit.
Yes, you did. You
I
interrupt
didn't. No, wait,
all
we're talking
the time.
about not like that though.
No,
You know, I'm just
you don't
saying.
interrupt with funny things. No, that's true.
Anyway.
Tell us about this game with the blue face. Tell us about the blue face game.
Yes.
So anyway, it has some of the best sound I've ever heard in a game, because it has binaural 3D sound. So you have to play with headphones on.
Correct.
You have to.
Well, you don't have to, but obviously
Oh,
it
you don't
enhances it enormously. Because obviously, one of the things obviously is constantly hearing like detached voices all the time.
Okay.
Sort of saying different things to her. But obviously, once you've got your headphones on, they're coming from all different directions. So it gives you a really good idea of what it would be like to be inside of her head, hearing all these sort of disembodied voices talking to her all the time.
The bisexual audio stuff, or whatever it's called, is actually something that really pisses me off in games like Fallout 3 and Skyrim, because when you face basically the the microphone of the video game is the camera. So when you're when you're looking at an NPC, you can hear them better if you're looking away from them. And sort of
this is totally different.
Because the way they record this is very similar to how they record motion capture. So motion capture, they move in a 3D environment, and then if the actor goes to their left, the audio will go to the left, and it's all sort of very clever stuff. And I'm very excited about this advancement in video games, and I can't wait until they put it into games where you shoot people in the face.
Yeah, I mean this is slightly different because there aren't any
shooting in the face.
Yeah, there's no shooting in the face, but there's also no direction for any of these voices because there isn't a character on screen that's talking to you. So they're coming from all directions. Pardon?
You never talk to other characters?
No, because it's all in her head. She's a psychotic. She's mental.
Sometimes psychotic people talk to other people, though.
Yes, they do, and I wouldn't know about that because my mum was a paranoid schizophrenic, so I'm well versed on mental illness and how it works.
What I'm saying is that I think the problem Chinny's talking about could still exist in this game.
Not really, because you're not turning to look at anyone. The voices are from behind you, from the sides.
Yeah, but they're still using the same tech. But it's just like you can't see them. We're arguing about something that's really dumb to argue about.
I agree.
It is, because they come from various...
Why don't you tell us about how the game actually plays?
Well, I'm trying to do that at the moment, but I'm finding it very difficult.
Minor aesthetic details.
Yeah. Well, it's not, because it's really important for the game to make you feel how that character who has mental illness feels.
What if you don't wear headphones?
I don't know. I haven't tried it.
You might as well take a shit on the game and not play it.
Because you feel like you'd lose a lot, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that you would.
I think
because
of...
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what else to say, really.
All right.
Do you do?
I don't.
How it
I
plays?
don't.
Is there cutting off of heads?
Not really, because what you're fighting are kind of imaginary characters that are all in a head, really.
Okay. So when you kill them, do they just evaporate, or do they fall on the ground, or?
Yeah, they pretty much just disappear.
Okay. And are you interested in this as a person?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be quite a deep and interesting story, but I don't know what to say to you guys because I'm finding it really difficult to explain it to you.
Okay.
And because I feel quite a personal connection to it.
That's fine. I respect that. And I didn't mean to make light of it.
Anyway, I think we should kind of move on.
Okay, moving on.
Right, okay, I think... Anyway, at that point, I think we should do some news.
Did Chinny have other things to talk about? Or did
Chinny. Yeah, sorry, Chinny. I've completely...
Are you okay, Stu?
Not particularly at the moment, no.
Do you want to say more about this video game, Stu?
Not really now. No, it's difficult because I've got quite a personal thing with it, with my mum's condition, etc. And I was trying to go through all of that stuff, you know, and explain how.
Go through it. Let's go through it.
Well, no, because it's hard because I got constantly interrupted and.
Okay, well now we.
I found it very difficult.
Yeah, well, look, that was because we was dicking about like we always do. Let's go through it.
Yeah, I didn't realize that there was a personal connection. Now that I realize, I will shut up. I assume Chinny will shut up. We do want to hear what you think.
You know, and because obviously, you know, I grew up with a mum who spent a lot of time hearing voices and talking to herself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can totally relate to the character and understand exactly and how well they've captured it. And I think the audio has a massive impact on that.
Mm.
Because the way that you hear the voices in your head, you can totally imagine that's what it would be like to have a mental illness and be able to hear all these disembodied voices.
Yeah.
Saying stuff all the time.
Right.
You know, and I feel, you know, it's difficult for me because, you know, I grew up with that for a lot of my life.
Did you know what this game was about when you went in?
No, I didn't know.
So when did it start to like hit a nerve?
Oh yeah, no, I think sort of almost instantly. As you saw, I mean, it's not only, and I think this is what I was trying to explain earlier about the eyes, because with my mum, obviously it went in episodes. So sometimes she'd be quite lucid for a few months, and then obviously she would start to sort of turn. I don't even know how you explain it, but the first place you saw it was in her eyes.
Mm.
You know, with that sort of skittish nature, and also almost looked empty. Pretty much like mostly all of the video games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's weird for me because obviously playing a game where someone's got a mental illness that I can obviously not relate to from my own personal point of view, but obviously from a very close family member, it does kind of touch a nerve, I guess. But yes, there is combat. There is combat. And it is sort of... It's a bit rudimentary, to be fair. It's standard light attack, heavy attack, sort of melee and dodging. But there's no HUD, so that's kind of cool. So it is very cinematic in that way. There isn't any sort of anything on the screen at all apart from her and obviously the environment.
Polished. Is it? Sorry, do you know who made this? Like, have they done?
It's Ninja Theory.
People that made DMC and
Enslaved.
Okay. So their motion capture is like on point.
It's the best. I mean, even the way she animates walking just looks really natural.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best looking games.
She looks buff as fuck.
She is. Oh yeah. I mean, it is very, very cool how she animates, how she moves around the environments, what she sort of does. The combat looks amazing. You know, obviously all the dodging, all the sort of different finishing moves, etc. But I do feel that's probably going to be its weakest point, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I think the story and the sort of subject matter, and to actually take that on in a game, I think is really good on them, you know. And I think what's kind of interesting, right at the very beginning of the game, it actually, in the cast, you know, obviously the cast is playing as you sort of start the game. It has the person who gave them, like the psychiatrist who was the advisor, is right up there front and center as well at the beginning of the game, who gave all the advisement on mental illness and how it affects people.
See, that's interesting because I think there's a lot of games that have sort of voices in the head, but it's always sort of Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know, like, oh, here's a guide that's going to, you know, be there for you, or else it's like one bad voice that's like, I'm going to make you do something horrible. And I agree with you, Stu, that it sounds like this is them trying to do something for this game that, I don't know, like That Dragon Cancer did in terms of like, let's try to deal with this thing in a way that's a little more direct and is a little more sophisticated and adult.
Definitely. And I mean, that's exactly what it does. It is kind of more adult in theme. It's definitely not scared of doing it, you know, and I think that's kind of cool because most people would be put off by sort of saying, look, let's play a game about mental illness. And it's not necessarily about mental illness, but that is kind of what she's got. And it's based in old Scottish North mythology. So they've also mixed in, which is kind of interesting as well, they've mixed in live action footage as well, but sort of distorted it. So they have real life actors in there as well, but they kind of really blend in really well with the environments and with the art style. It just looks fine. But I've got to say, I think it's great. I really enjoy it. Well, not enjoying. I say enjoy is probably the wrong word for it. But
it's a it is romp. Shoot, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's not particularly. But it is engrossing and it is interesting to be put in that position. And I think that's what the sound does for it, because you're sort of hearing all those voices yourself in your ears all the time that you're playing it. It does make you feel that way. It does make you understand how she must be feeling and what she's going through.
I think I can imagine what it would do is like emphasize in a way that can't be emphasized any other way the overwhelming nature of that experience. You don't know what it's like necessarily for someone going through it, but you do get a visceral sense of connection to it that you wouldn't get any other way. Does that make sense? And
definitely.
A way that actually connects to me in a way, because I don't know if y'all heard about this, but in Charlottesville, Virginia recently in the United States this weekend, there was this massive protest of Klansmen and fascists and Nazis. And then there were a bunch of counter protesters there as well. And one jackass drove his car into the protesters and killed somebody. And it's obviously devastating whenever something like that happens. But the Duchess was pretty profoundly saddened by that. And it occurred to me that seemed to have struck her in a way that other situations like that didn't. And I think the reason is because she has taken part in a lot of those street protests. And a lot of times drivers are especially obnoxious during those protests and when she's riding her bike. So the only reason I mention it is because I think her personal connection to that, that made it hit home in a certain way. And I think whenever I hear a story about a teacher being killed or doing something horrible, I feel a connection there. So I think this game could be an interesting link to that sort of thing as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like I say, the puzzling elements are a little bit frustrating. Because basically what you have to do, and you can see this in this section here, when you want to open a gate, it has two like rune symbols on it, and you just literally have to wander around till you find them in the near environment to where you stood. So you kind of wander around, and then you have to line it up, and then it opens the door.
It reminds me of a little bit, but obviously more sophisticated.
Yeah, it's all right, but it is. I think the mechanics are a little bit rudimentary, but I think the aesthetics and what it's doing make up for that in spades, really.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of going through it and seeing how it develops and what happens through the story, because I think it's going to be quite an interesting and probably quite bleak. I have to say, I don't think it's going to be a fun romp anyway. I think it's going to be quite a bleak.
At the end, it's all just a good laugh. Like,
yeah, I don't think
She's just at her birthday party, and it's like, hey, surprise!
It's all fine.
Yeah,
I don't
know if it's going to be a.
To me, I mean, like, is it a walking simulator though? Because like it doesn't like.
Well, this is what the main
gamey
criticism
things in it, but there's not that many gamey things in it.
No, the main criticism it's received really is that a lot of reviewers are saying they should have just not bothered with the combat. They should have kind of stuck to maybe some puzzle elements and sort of made it more of a full-on walking simulator, because that's kind of what it is, a very cinematic story.
It looks like Tomb Raider, but with all the combat taken out of it.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. It's a nice looking game, and I was quite shocked that it ran all right on my PC, to be honest. So it's on my Steam list anyway, Chinny. So if you want to give it a go, you're more than welcome to.
No. No. It doesn't look like my thing. I don't know.
Well, you like Ninja Theory games.
Yeah. No. But like, I mean, like, there's an interesting thing I just thought of. Like, would it be, because you said, it touched a nerve with you. It's not the most happiest game of them all. Would it be a contender for Game of the Year?
I think it's potentially up there if it develops as well as I think it might do. Yeah, I think it possibly is going to be up there. And I think what's kind of cool about it is, well, not cool for me, but not so much cool for them, is that it's kind of been under the radar, hasn't it? Really.
I've heard things about it.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've heard things.
Yeah.
It's curious to me to figure out if it's. I mean, 'cause there's more games out now than there ever been, right? Like it seems like it's harder and harder for a game to make a name for itself like that.
You're getting love in the chat, Stu. I don't know if you've seen
I know.
it.
Yeah, I know.
Smart Isis says, "Get over it, Stu." No, he didn't. He said, "I played Journey when my mom was dying of cancer, so like touched a nerve." Yeah. Some guy.
And like I said, that Dragon Cancer hit me because I lost my dad when I was 16. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting thing about games because a lot of times people will just say, "Oh, video games is just Pac-Man or Grand Theft Auto or whatever." And obviously, there's as many kinds of games as there are different kinds of movies. And I think this is one of the things that games can do really well is reflect something important about difficult experiences that people have been through. So.
I think what I like about Ninja Theory in particular and this game in general is that they've been prepared to take a huge risk. Because instead of doing the normal video game tropes of like, Devil May Cry, for instance, which was the last game that they did, they've been sort of prepared to take on a very serious subject matter and kind of do it in an adult way rather than just sort of in a flippant throwaway way.
Well, Devil May Cry took on some really serious issues, right? The rise of demons on the planet Earth.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a lot of people are talking about that. No, I agree. But that's true, and I think I think that's something that a lot more games could do. And I know that people are worried that if they get too serious, then the fun of the game will go away. But I think the best games are games that can do both. Just like the best movies are both entertaining and very thought-provoking. I think there's a way to walk that line.
Yeah.
Did you say this was set in Scotland?
It's set on. They talk about the Isle of Arran and a few other different Scottish islands.
It looks like modern day Scotland, like about 5 years ago. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think so. No.
When I see Scotland in my head, this is kind of what I imagine it looks like.
Yeah, it's definitely wet anyway, so they've got that bit right. It's raining a lot already. They've nailed the rain
combat on
in
the
Scotland.
Stream. Big dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. The combat doesn't look that fun. I don't know.
It's all right. I mean, the combat's all right. It looks stylish, but it's a bit boring to execute. It's basically, it's kind of like Assassin's Creed, but without all the extra flourishes and stuff. It's kind of like dodge, quick hit, dodge, heavy hit, quick hit, and that's kind of it, really. So it's very repetitive.
See, that sounds okay to me.
I don't mind that. I don't want anything too deep, to be honest. So I'm kind of fine with it getting over quickly.
Yeah.
But you basically you build up your power on the mirror. So there's a mirror dangling off her side, and when that's full, you can then unleash like a big attack. So that's like big finisher stuff. So that's what you've got to use against the boss type characters. So yeah, you've got to learn to dodge. That's the biggest thing in the game. And if you obviously dodge at the right time, that's when you fill your mirror gauge up.
It's The Witcher 3 all over again.
Yeah, they've kind of done a good job though of putting everything on her as a character. So your HUD's basically her. So your health is
Like Dead Space.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like a black growth that goes up your arm if you get hit too many times. And then it had this weird thing that came out with the reviews that if you die too many times, it deletes your save.
What?
So so if you fail too many times in the game,
shit,
it deletes your but apparently it's not true.
Oh, okay.
So you don't need to worry too much. But apparently it's not true. But anyway, look, all I can do is recommend it and say it's well worth, and it's 24 quid.
Yeah, I noticed it was a little cheaper than other like AAA games, but it looked like a AAA game. So
It's not that long though, is it? It's like
I think it's about 7 or 8 hours. I've heard.
Oh, is it?
It's not too.
Yeah, so it's not walking simulator length. It's longer than that.
You reckon you'll be done by next week?
I'm gonna try, although I won't be here next week.
Oh, that's right. Ooh.
That's right. I'm away next week.
You should send a speak pipe telling us what you think.
Yeah, I will do. I'll definitely do that.
The week after.
Yeah. So I'll see. I'm gonna see if I can get out because I'm off work tomorrow and I'm off on Friday. So I'll see if I can get stuff done. But I will be packing as well. But if I get up early enough in the morning, I reckon a couple of good sessions should get me through it.
I'm gonna question your dedication to this podcast, Stu. If you can't get this done, like going on holiday and shit.
I know. Yeah.
I question dedication to your teeth.
I know, that's both of us. But yeah, look, I totally recommend it. It looks great. It's amazing, and it does straddle the uncanny valley line big time. Because there's a bit that's just been on when she's talking directly to the screen, and it is a bit weird.
I think this is the game I can see myself watching someone play this rather than playing it myself. I don't know why, but for some reason I think I might enjoy that more.
Yeah.
Just as a movie rather than a game. I don't know.
Well, that's what it straddles, apparently. It's very movie-like.
Yeah, that's cool.
So this is the bit where it tells you that what will grow each time you fail.
Dude.
Yeah, a quest is over. And it says something like you lose all progress.
Goodness.
And all progress will be lost.
There it is right there. All progress will be lost.
But I don't think that's necessarily true from what I've heard. Somebody tried to do it and got themselves killed 50 times and it still didn't sort of wipe the game save off. So they're not really sure.
It takes 51 to actually have it.
Yeah, maybe. But apparently that's just messing with you as well. So it's just messing with you.
One more piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. So,
There's
but
a
apparently
lot of this game where she's just looking at you.
Oh yeah, and it is weird because her eyes are just right. The eyes look right, and it's weird because you don't see that in video games.
Maybe they should have got this guy on Mass Effect.
Well, I remember. Do you know when we went to his talk at EGX or Eurogame? He talked about eyes, didn't he? Then he talked about how difficult it was to get eyes.
I was too busy being lost in his eyes.
Were you? But yeah, I remember him talking about the eyes and saying how difficult it was to make eyes look real, and that they were really trying hard to do that. So whether they've almost perfected it, yeah, it feels like they have because her eyes look real.
Steve figured it out in accountants.
He did.
Nailed it.
He did.
Figured it out. Move them. Move the eyes.
Figured it out.
See that perchance.
Yeah.
Steve.
But yeah, anyway, all I can do is totally recommend it. And for 24 quid, or I'm guessing what, $30 is it? $35?
Oh, for free for me.
Yeah, and free for you.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some early access crafting games I could buy with that money.
Exactly. But think how many copies of this you could buy had you not bought all those early access crafting games.
Save up for my keys for Rocket League. Oops.
Oh.
Just kidding.
But anyway, it's cool. All I can say is it's very cool so far, and I have no hesitation in recommending it, even though the puzzly stuff's a little bit frustrating.
Shite.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, there you go. Is it my turn now?
It is your turn now.
My mouth hurts.
Haha, mouth hurts.
Talking about dodging and shit, I played For Honor.
Oh, really?
It's a game.
Why and how?
It's free, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, Jimmy said, "Hey, Mike." I said, "What?" And he was like, "Oh, it's For Honor." And I was like, "Shut up, Jimmy." No, I don't know. He's into it. He's like, "Oh, look, For Honor's free. Have you heard of For Honor?" Yeah. It looks dumb. And then he says, "Can you play it with me?" I was like, "Okay." And these days,
there was an esports thing, and there were people glitching, and it ruined the thing.
I don't know what that is. But these days, I don't know. Jimmy doesn't like the twins are getting older. They're like 13 or some shit.
You don't even know how old they are.
They're 12, coming 13 in November. And you know, more and more like they don't give a fuck about me anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're just like whatever. But you know, no, they do. But like at the same time, they don't. You know what I mean? When I walk in,
See, it's like Millie. I used to go roller skating with her all the time. Now she never wants to go. Don't give a shit. She just wants to go. Yeah.
You just
wants to hang out with your mates and stuff.
You know, and
I can't the cradle and the silver spoon.
I know I'm losing them, and then I'll get them back when they're 18 and they got no money. But it's fine. It's fine.
Uncle Mike.
Yeah, Uncle Mike, can you give me a lip? Fuck off, you know it. No. Yeah. So Jimmy says, "Oh, can you play For Honor with me?" And
Mike, can you put bail?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I drew graffiti on the Statue of Liberty again. Like, there's lots of questions there, Jimmy.
Do you know how to get? You know how to get rid of a body?
Yeah. So like, I don't know. For Honor is a combat game where it's basically Dark Souls but multiplayer.
Yeah. Like Dark Souls, Street Fighter.
Yeah. It's Call of Duty, Dark Souls, Street Fighter, Assassin's Creed, and with a sprinkle of I don't know, Minecraft. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
I did play a bit of this when the beta came out, and it was all right. I thought it was all right.
It was okay. The animation's pretty bang on, to be fair. So you play as it's 4v4, and then there's like sort of AI characters like minions or whatever. Not the actual minions from the movie, but that would really break the immersion. And bottom. And you know that like you run around and capture points. Like, it's not that revolutionary, but the combat's fun, and you have to sort of like, you know, and like you come across.
It's very intricate, isn't it?
Yeah, well, no, it's just like there's an arrow, and you have to like point the thing in that arrow. It's not that intricate.
But there's like 6 different kinds of attacks, and
I don't know.
middle,
I saw a light and a heavy, and I was doing fine. Like, so.
Yeah, there's something about directions, isn't there, that you have to do uppercuts and all that kind of stuff.
You lock on to a dude, right, and like you've got 3 directions, like up, left, right, and like you can sort of see what he's gonna do. Like, there's like an indicator. It's like, oh, he's gonna attack you from this side, so you have to move your right analog stick to that side, and you can see how he's blocking as well, so you can do an attack like that goes against that. So there's a bit of that shit, but it's basically just melee combat with capturing points. I thought it was good, and it feels good, and it's fun when you kick somebody off an edge. I laughed at that bit, but I'm only playing it because it's free. I mean, Jimmy was like, "Oh, it's hard."
Why is there fire coming out of that dude's shoulders?
Because that's what happened in the olden days. Stu, read a book.
What?
So
is this like the exploding gold things you can get in Rocket League? Is that what that is?
Have you never seen Passion of the Christ, where that scene where all this fire comes out of his back?
I don't know. I'm trying to.
You need to just read a book, Stu. Yeah,
Song of Ice and Fire is based on true events.
Jimmy's convinced it's half price now, so instead of 45 or 40 quid or something, it's 20. And he's all in. He's like, I'm gonna buy it. So like, I suppose the free weekend worked. It worked on him.
Oh, so Jimmy hasn't got it yet. He's only played the free weekend.
Played for the free weekend. Yeah, I don't know how you found it, but you've got to. I think you've got to download it through UPlay, which is why I never bothered. But
careful you don't get hacked.
Yeah, he was like, yep, no, this is my thing now, and he's into it, and then he'll play it and put it down because he goes off games very, very quickly. Which is why when he asked me to buy it, he says, "Oh, you should buy it, Mike." I was like, "We're never gonna." I bought Golf with Friends for you, and we played it for 10 minutes, and then you fucked off. So screw you, nephew. And he's like, "No, well, I don't know. My mom called me." I'm like, "Shut up! You don't know what's going
I think Jack Cruz calling about the model trains. You have to go to its on the tracks.
I don't know. For Honor's pretty good. I was impressed with it, but I would only play it. I would only play it if I got, I was playing it with all my friends. That's like probably when it would be fun.
Yeah, I get the sense this is a game that you really want to have.
Like
other people.
most multiplayer though is like it's only fun when you play it with friends. Like I play Overwatch now and again on my own because I just want something else. But as soon as you start playing with friends, it's much more fun. I've got a bit cold turkey with PUBG.
I know, yeah. What's happening?
I can't do my usual PUBG for life because my face is feels like I've got a tennis ball under my lip.
PUBG for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it for you.
So so I don't know what's happened really. I've gone cold turkey on it. On
purpose, like trying to, or are you just
every day is a struggle. Like every day is like I'm going to play it today, and then I never do. So for people that think that like, oh, Chini's not into it anymore, or it's finally like the bubbles burst, blah blah blah, you're wrong. Like every day I'm like a smoker. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my god, I want to play PUBG so much.
Denying yourself because you want to get through your year of living.
30.
Well, it's funny you should say that because I was going to ask you where you're up to because we're 8 months into the year now.
What do you mind your own fucking business?
So you should be at least halfway through if you're going to make it.
Well, that's what set the alarm off, Stuart, if that is your real name. Because it was. I sort of realised it was like past the halfway point, and I wasn't halfway. So when I did the quick maths, I was not on track to finish.
So how many games have you completed now?
Well, if Bongo pulls his fucking finger out and updates the goddamn website,
if you curse at him more, that'll help.
I've finished 14.
Oh well, you're not so far. I didn't think you'd finish that many, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I have. I'm kind of like good at that stuff.
Well,
no,
I thought you were going to say about 8 or 9.
No, I've finished 14, and I have got City Skylines started. I kind of fell out of love with that game, but I feel like I'm going to start a new city or something. So I've got another 10 or 15 hours to play in that, and then I'll be done with that. I've almost finished Banjo-Kazooie. I'm like 14, but I'm not far off from being 16. With a bit of effort, and I'm not that far off from BioShock as well. So. That's what I've been playing. Is BioShock.
Yeah. So where are you up to then?
I'm up to Sander Cohen.
Oh,
that's quite a way in, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Ryan, you fucking that and this. That's BioShock, everyone.
So which way did you go the first time round with Sander Cohen?
You mean what I did with him when we was
Yeah,
done?
did you kill him or let him live?
No, I let him live because I knew there was an achievement later on to find him. And shoot him
is that the only reason you let him live?
And when I played this,
I would Chinny let anybody live.
I actually, when I was playing this was in 2007.
By the way, spoilers for BioShock.
Yeah, BioShock's 10 years old. Get over it.
Like who gives a shit?
So there's a maniac in the game. Called Sander Cohen, and he likes taking pictures of dead people and stuff. And you come across him he has the key to Andrew Ryan's house, and you have to play his game to sort of get the key. And his game is taking pictures of dead people. So that's where I am with that.
That was one of my favourite bits of the game.
It is probably
such a cool thing.
The best part of the game, I think.
It is.
And it's I think that's what stands up about BioShock is because there's a lot of high points. I think the intro is a fantastic part of the game, and probably like one of the first few missions that you do is really exciting and interesting. There is a bit where you go to the gardens and you have to like revitalize the plant. I hated that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
10 years ago, I almost gave up at that point. I'm playing Bioshock.
I felt like that was just change of pace for the sake of a change of pace. Like,
Yeah.
hey, no, it's not an underwater city. Plants, trees. All right, let's put those in there somehow.
Yeah. 10 years later, me still thinks it's a little bit boring, but I didn't. Maybe because I was sort of ready for it. I knew like I just found like the plant levels a bit shit. And I remember, it's funny, isn't it? Like, it's been 10 years. Like, I can't remember what I did last week. But 10 years ago, I played this, and I walk into a room and go, oh, I hacked a terminal here, like, on the left, and I was bang on. And then, oh, I walked in here, and there's an enemy here, and there's a Big Daddy here, and da-da-da-da. So, yeah. But there are things I don't remember about the game. Kind of how creepy it was at certain points. It's actually a lot more easier than I remember it being, and I don't believe that I'm better at games now. I'm probably shitter at them. But I feel like Bioshock 10 years ago was something that I'm not used to playing. Like, these days, I play lots of different things, but 10 years ago, I didn't play that many different, like, a big variety of games. This is a fun fact, right? The world of video games opened up for me when I started listening to podcasts.
It's funny, isn't it?
When I started listening to podcasts, I started getting more interested in video games, right? 2007 was the first time I ever listened to a video game podcast. That video game podcast had an interview with Ken Levine, the very first one I ever listened to. And it was about a game called Bioshock, and I had no idea what it was. But it was the Major Nelson podcast, and they was making this big fucking deal about this thing, and they were saying Ken Levine's a genius. They were talking about System Shock. I'm like, I have no idea what these guys are talking about. So then I went and I looked at videos of Bioshock, and then there was a demo. There was a magazine. I bought a magazine with Bioshock on the front of it, and it had a demo disc. Remember the disc? And the guys would like do a commentary over it and shit. Have like a play preview of it. This is what the world was like 10 years ago, kids, I'm afraid.
I know, yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
And then the demo came out, and I think that basically just convinced everyone that this is going to be
still best demo ever.
Best demo, and yeah, like this back then, this game was quite intimidating to me. I think, like, because it's so different to what I used to play Halo and shoot things in the face, and I never really sort of that bothered about, Master Chief's a fucking idiot that just shoots things. Like, he's a dumb character. And, I didn't, I played Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider's just this stupid twat that just does handstands and shit. She's not interested at all. And then you play Bioshock, and it's just another completely different thing that I've never.
There's the philosophical flaws of objectivism, kids. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, like, and I'm too dumb to understand all that kind of stuff that Duke's talking about. But it captured me in a way that, like, it like, I was just like, wow, like, I've really, it was a home run, really. The first episode of a podcast that I never listened to directed me to a video game. That's probably one of the best video games ever made. So, like.
And I think, sorry, real quick, I'd say this is one of those games that does both things at once. It's very entertaining, but it has some really important philosophical stuff in it.
Yeah, no, it does, but I don't understand them. But anyway,
you do. That's the thing, is that you do. It's just you don't know all the fancy ways to talk about it.
No, I don't. It's like Andrew Ryan's like, fuck everything, fuck them all, fuck them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start my own thing underwater, which isn't safe, you stupid knob. There's leaks everywhere. Like, this place is falling apart. Like, this isn't going to work at all. Like, dumb. Let's build one in the sky. Doesn't work. Like, just put parachutes everywhere. Just put parachutes everywhere. Just, what are you doing? Anyway, Bioshock's good, is what I'm saying.
He's a little preoccupied with the girl who rips the fabric of time to be worrying about parachutes.
Yeah. Yeah, Bioshock's good. It just holds up. Sander Cohen is one of the best parts of the game. It's so interesting and fucked up, but the game's not that difficult. I'm fucking up the Big Daddies big time, I'm just mashing them up. Like I don't even.
So
get
are you doing
worried.
it any differently now? Are you using different powers, or are you doing it exactly like you did it last time?
I'm a bit more playful with the powers, I think, than what I remember. I sort of just stuck with the electrical majiggery. Also, in video games, I have a habit of like hoarding shit. I don't know about you, but I hoard
yeah.
a lot of shit, and like I think I need to save this because I'm going to use it further on. Now I just spend it or use it straight away. It's like gives you like a flamethrower. I'm like using this now. So yeah, I don't know. The game's good. It's BioShock. If you haven't played it, you're fucking insane. That's BioShock.
There might be some people out there who've never played it.
You're insane.
There
They're
might
the
be.
same who never played Portal 2.
They're the same as that person driving his BMW with FIFA on his number plate.
That guy.
Yeah, FIFA. See, smart aces, but I still need to play BioShock.
A lot of people come into. He also said Major Nelson's the Pat Sharp of video games, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Fun house, whole lot of fun, which is what BioShock is. It's a fun house. No, yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of people come into the stream and said, "Oh, I've never played it. I don't know what it is. What's a video game?" Which is strange, but I don't know. I'm done talking about BioShock. It's like 10 years old.
Anything else you can talk about?
No.
Nope. I think we need to do some quick news.
We need to do
Super quick news.
Super quick news.
Deadly Premonition is going to announce his
No,
first.
there's not news about Deadly Premonition.
I know, the
Shush,
guy that
shush,
made
listen,
it
it's good
is
stuff,
going to
it's good
announce
stuff.
his first game in 3 years at PAX Seattle.
There you go. It's all good stuff.
All right,
good
super
stuff's
quick
gonna come.
news. Another shit game's going to come. Yay. The internet reacts to Valve's new game announcement. Valve used to make video games, but now they don't. So they're going to make a proper video game. Oh no, they're not. They're going to make a fucking card game.
Right.
I was just like, what the fuck is this?
The internet did not react very well to that. Super quick
When
news.
MOBAs were things that everybody was making, everybody made their own MOBA. And then that went away, and now everyone's making their own card games. What if you took a MOBA and made it into a card game?
It's just stupid, though. It's just like we talked about this on the Boss Wave quite a bit, but we just sort of saying like they are just creatively redundant at Valve now, aren't they? They're just doing what everybody else
They got
is
the
doing.
writers left.
I know. That's what I mean. There's just
So,
nobody there. There's no one to do anything anymore. It's sad. It's very sad, and all they just making
Business
tons
has
of money off
changed.
Steam.
The business has
I know.
changed.
I know. I wish you'd just go back and not have Steam and just keep making really good games.
Hey, I like Steam. Don't be.
I know,
Steam
but
has gave,
you know.
gave you so much joy, though.
I know.
It's like a prisoner's problem.
It's prisoner's dilemma, man.
Yeah.
Do without Steam and have great games, or do without great games and have Steam. What do you do?
What do you do? I want to
What do you do?
Bus going 60 miles an hour. Sorry, a different dilemma.
Cooper says, super quick news, Spotify is on Xbox. Brilliant. I'm
Yeah, we
really
mentioned
happy.
that last week.
Last week's news.
Yeah, we mentioned that last week.
Well, I wish I was here.
You were.
Okay, sure. Whatever you say, if that's your real name. Charity.
This is very super quick news. This is
Shut
slowly.
up. Shut up. Teenagers are known for punching old people in the face, but not all of them do. These ones don't. They bring VR to old people and to sick kids because, you know, it's funny to watch them.
They don't want to play it, so they thought maybe these sick kids would want to play
Yeah.
it.
So what they did is they put VR on them and pretended that they were on top of a building and said, no, it's fine. And then they threw up for 3 hours. I put like a Gear VR on my dad, and he nearly fell over. It was hilarious.
Is that true?
Yeah, and my mum as well. My mum nearly sort of threw up. She was like, "Oh."
Brilliant.
So I thought that was brilliant. So anyway, No Man's Sky
Awesome.
is a terrible game that came out last year. That's
Not terrible. Just
that's not
very
subjective.
underwhelming.
That's objective. Like everybody agrees. No one disagrees. Even the guy that made it went, yeah, it's kind of shit.
Apparently,
Anyway,
it's getting better.
it's getting better. Like my big swollen cheek, it's kind of getting better.
I must admit, I've been tempted to buy this again because it's literally 10 quid on
You're
PS4.
insane. Anyway,
it's
no.
a tenner. It's a tenner.
Update 1.3 adds new multiplayer and supports much more. Like nothing. I don't know.
It is basically what they've added Have you seen how they've implemented?
They've added what they promised would be in there on day one.
Not really. Kind of not really. What
They're
they've
still
added
not at 1.0.
No, not really. No, what they've added is orbs of people.
Okay.
So basically, there's an orb with the person's name on, so they can be in the same place
Fable
as you.
2 says the low. Anyway,
Yeah,
this game
it's basically Fable 2. That's what they've added.
this game continues to disappoint everybody, and it will never get good. Sorry, I made myself laugh. I apologise for that outburst.
Oh, pain.
Anyway, Borderlands developers reveal a new shooter with a twist.
They all have a twist.
Every time you shoot someone, it shoots someone for real. No, that's not the twist. Gearbox is best known for the development of the Borderlands series.
Guess what? Right, Jude, do you know what they're adding? Do you know what the twist is? Right, what do you think the twist might be?
I think it's going to be you shoot a gun that's filled with puppies.
Dildos.
No, just think about the recent Valve news we've just talked about.
It's got a card game in it.
It has. That's exactly what they've added.
Like Gwent.
Awesome. Anyway, that's that. So if you're a fan of CCGs?
Card games, CCGs.
I have no idea. But it's basically
games.
it's basically a shooter with cards. Who knows?
It all get you know. This is your
Hey,
episode.
that's market points. That's where a lot of people are going to run to. That's the way Cap works.
Leaked PS4 5.0 update reveals what's next for the console. It's going to change the color of the console to bright red. I don't know how it does it with an update, but it's going to do it. Last month, Sony announced blah blah blah.
The biggest news is that you can, if you've got a PS4 Pro, you can stream at 1080p with 60 frames a second.
Crap.
So that's the biggest news.
I watched Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, and he was playing Halo 5 on a PS4 controller.
What?
So that's good.
That's how you do it.
That's the news.
Boy, I hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
That's the news.
That's the news. So
I need antibiotics.
We have one email this week, so we'll do that, and then we've got the
Whoa, that ruled.
And then we've got a very special speak pipe.
We've got another one that just got sent in, by the way. A speak pipe.
Have we? Oh.
All right, it's not a carry-on film, Stu.
Oh. Anyway, the one and only email tonight is off Chris Freitas. Chris Freitas.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. It's good name. He says the title is "Sorry, No Stupid Owl Voice." So he says this: Dear VG, what's up, guys?
What up, Chris?
Love the show. So that's good. We always like that. I want to start out by saying what I like about the show.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, Duke and his masterful use of the soundbite. So he loves you first, Duke. Chinny for staying relevant.
With the kids, fidget spinners.
Yeah, down with the kids. And Stu, because nothing beats a big bowl of hot, steamy owl stew. So there you go. I've been playing Skyrim Special Edition and Fallout 4 level 107 on survival.
Woo, Skyrim!
Pretty good.
I certainly do not mean stew.
I also discovered Abzu, which is pretty good. It's pretty good, Abzu.
Is that the swimming game?
Yeah, it's all right.
No, it's not good.
It's all right.
No.
I'm 47 years old and still going strong.
Oh,
I'm an old man.
But my timing and hand-eye coordination are starting to slip. Could you guys discuss the effects of aging as it pertains to gaming skills? Any experience you might have had? Thanks for putting out such a quality show.
You don't play multiplayer games, Stu. Is that because you're
I
old?
do not. No, it's because I don't particularly enjoy multiplayer games.
Is it because you shit at them because you're old?
Not really. Do you know, it's weird, right? Because I think...
When they were young, when he was young too.
I think I was shitter when I was younger. I think I'm better at video games now than when I was younger, to be fair.
Yeah, I was
to
thinking
an
about
extent.
that. Sorry, since you mentioned that, right? Like Chinny said that he's not better at games now. You may not be better at the mechanics in terms of like the reflexes because you're getting older, Chinny. But I think you've got a lot more experience with the systems of gaming. So in the same way as someone can be crap in Rocket League in terms of hitting the ball accurately, like me, but I still understand the importance of rotating offense and defense. And I understand angles and trajectories better now than I ever did. And there's a lot of things that go into gaming. So you can be better at one part and not others.
I think there's the other thing is like, say if I play a video game with Tara, and I can't think of a specific example, but I'll make one up. So like
Her Story. What about Her Story?
No. Right, a good game. So like the game gives you a room with a puzzle, right? And it gives you like a hammer and a ball, right? And like I'm always going, well, it's giving you a hammer and a ball for a reason, right? You know, like that's what the way games work. You know,
Right.
like it's giving you these things for a reason. Or in Portal 2, when like a window is slightly longer than something else, and you think, well, that's the game telling you that something's weird. You have to look at that direction.
You know how games communicate with players.
Whereas like, and I've solved something or I did something really quickly, and Tara goes, "How the hell did you figure that out so quick?" And it's not because I'm like really, really clever. It's just because you know what you're looking for. You know what I mean? You know.
You've played so many games that
Yeah.
you know that the options are going to be much more limited right away.
You
than
know
people.
the correct way in a video game is where the fucking light is all the time, or like the flashing light, you know, or the light that's flickering. You go, that's the developer saying, go this way.
Yeah.
But there you go.
No,
So in
no,
terms
I
of
totally agree.
how age has affected me personally, I just think it's about time. Like I'm less inclined to play enormous games because they're going to require so much time. And so I want to play a game, like I play a lot of Rocket League because I can play it in small bursts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You see, it's
go on,
weird for me. I was going to say it's weird for me because I'm kind of like Duke. I like a nice short, get it over with game. A 2-hour, 3-hour game is great for me. And I love those because I know I can sit down, play, and finish a game in one sitting. And I feel like I've accomplished something. But then every now and again, a game like The Witcher 3 comes along.
Yeah.
And I'll quite happily play that for 100 hours and not bat an eyelid about it. And it's weird, but whereas Horizon Zero Dawn, which everybody's losing the load over, I still like it and I think it's great, but I don't have the urge to keep playing it all the time constantly. Whereas with Witcher 3, I couldn't stop playing it. I don't know what the difference is.
I don't know.
Is there anybody in Horizon Zero Dawn who beat their wife?
Nope.
Because there is in that in Witcher 3.
There definitely is.
So there
I think
women.
I feel like I've definitely sort of slowed down as I got older. But I just
In terms of manual dexterity and stuff.
yeah, I just feel like I'm not as quick as I used to be. But I know people that are my age and older than me that are still good at multiplayer games. I feel like I'm alright, but like, I think what you said, Duke, is like I used to play Gears of War 1 all the time, and Call of Duty 4 all the time, and I don't play Overwatch that much. I'll jump in a game and I feel like I'm shit, and it's like anything. If you play the guitar for 5 minutes, you ain't gonna be great. You gotta put some hours into it, and I just don't put the hours in anymore to a multiplayer game. So that's probably why I'm not as good anymore.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, no, I agree. Although you do seem to be doing all right at PUBG, to be fair.
I'm not as good as I'd like to be in PUBG. Sean, who we play with, is amazing. He's much better than I am, and I feel like, again, but Kevin, Sean, they've all put like 200, 300 hours into that game, and I've not even hit 100. So it's time. Like I just don't.
It is time, and I don't think it's necessarily true that your reflexes are getting slower or your hand-eye coordination's gone to shit. It's the amount of time you play the games that counts, isn't it? And how good you get at it, because like how many hours? Let's be honest here, you've got Rocketeer in Rocket League, but how many hours have you put in that game?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm still just barely gold, which is the irony of it. Just because you play a thing for a long time does not mean you're going to be good at it.
No, that's also true. That is, but you've got to get better, haven't you? Law of averages says that you will get better eventually if you do something enough. Yeah,
definitely. But probably not where I should be based on how many. If I had been playing the game in order to get better, like really working at improving my skills, it's like with Go. I've been playing the board game Go since 2000, so that's 17 years. I've stagnated at a certain plateau, and I have been for like 10 years because I just haven't played it in a way that's designed to get me better. So that's okay. I enjoy the game. I have fun with it. The end.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Any other emails? Or are we ready to move
No,
on?
that's it. So
Chris
we're on
wins the email of the week.
Yes, thank you.
Because it's the only one. So, but thank you for that. We appreciate it. Speak pipe. It's the way to leave a message for us. So we've got we've got off 2 different people this week. We've got 2 speak pipes.
Are we starting with the special one, or are we going to do?
No, that's up to you. You decide. You're in control. You do what you want to do.
Start with Derek Sains because we always love his stuff, and we'll save the special guest for the end of the Speak Pipe segment. So here's Derek Sains' email. I should tell people you might want to turn your headset down if you got earbuds.
Yeah.
Kind of loud.
Hello, veteran gamers. It's Derek Sains back.
And then he comes on with that calm, joyful
yeah.
voice. You got some nerve, Derek.
It's a juxtaposition.
After Stu's comments last week about mixing things up, I'll be sending an email one week and then a speak pipe the next from now on.
Ooh.
So over the last month or 2, I've been watching a lot of the Cookery Channel, mainly Jamie Oliver, in an effort to improve my, sadly lacking cookery skills. And if I'm being kind, it's been mixed results, but no outright disasters. So my question for you is, if you were invited onto TV, something like the Jamie Oliver program, and you had to cook a dish for the TV public, what would your signature dish be?
Oh,
well, this is going to be easy for Stu. He's just going to be like, I'll whip this fucking together and everything.
Not necessarily, because,
maybe
I cook lots of different things, though, so it's hard to pick one particular thing.
Certified chef.
It's hard to pick one particular thing, but look, we'll let you 2 go first. Go on, I'll have a think about it.
I would make a dish that was passed down from my family from generations to generation. I remember my mother teaching me how to cook it when I was about 7 years old. Wait, that's a lie. It's something I made up. It's a dish called the Divine Casserole, and it's an amazing blend of flavors and tastes. Oh, wait, that's a lie. It's mac and cheese with veggie burgers cut up. It's awesome, and everybody likes it. Kids like it because it's mac and cheese, and adults like it because it tastes good, and it's easy to make, and I love it, and I eat it all the time. So there it is, the Divine Casserole. That's what I would make. Chinny?
There you go, Chinny.
Chinny bakes because he likes to bake.
I will cook it's quite a bit of a specialty of mine. I'll walk you through sort of how I cook it and stuff. So I get my phone. And I'll get this app called Domino's, right? Slow down. And it's called like a pizza. It's from Italy originally. You probably haven't heard of it. And like you can put different things on it and shit. You can have like half a pizza and the other half something else, and you can stuff the crust with the hot dog.
Wait. Half a pizza and half something else. What? Like the other half's gonna be a salad? What are you talking about?
No, like a car. Like the horse.
I like half pizza, half car. Please.
Yeah.
It's a car.
Yeah. So I can't cook.
You can't. I'm aware of this.
Stu has seen this firsthand.
I have seen this firsthand.
Actually, I was going to make a video of it. I've still got all that footage.
I know. Yeah, I've still got that footage.
I'm going to edit that video this week. That's what I'm going to do.
That's funny.
If you want to see my cooking skills, this week I'm going to edit the cooking video.
If you were going to bake something, Chinny, what would you bake?
What can you make? You must be able to make something. You must have cooked for Tara at some point.
I'm going to be cooking for Tara on Tuesday.
There you go. You see what you're making?
It's called Domino's.
It's going to be half pizza, half
the spaghetti meatballs.
Hard to mess that up.
No, it has to be pretty simple for me. Yeah, I can't do stuff. I don't know. Baking wise, maybe like a Brooklyn blackout cake if they're into chocolate.
See, you're good at baking, though. You see, you
Yeah.
should put yourself down because you're good at baking.
I do like lemon and poppy seed cake.
See, now he sounds all fancy now.
Yeah, fuck you.
None of the lemon poppy seed
You
really
can't.
counts.
One of the best cakes I ever made, right, was it was just a normal Victoria sponge, but it collapsed, right? And so, like, you know, when the collapse.
So is it like a Victoria sponge brownie? Is that what you're
Yeah.
telling us?
So I just thought, fuck it, I'll just bake it, right, and I'll just keep going. And it turned out, and I just smeared some of the jam and stuff on the top, and it was fucking beautiful. It was so good. And because like bits of it were slightly like sort of had crispy burnt bits, and it was really nice.
That was just like the brownies I made recently.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, well, if it was me, right?
Here we
I was
go.
obsessed.
Gordon
I was
Ramsay
obsessed.
over here.
Settle in,
No,
kids.
not at all. Not at all. I like simplicity, if I'm being really honest. I really don't like pretentious food. So I'm not a big fan of fancy posh restaurants where everything's minuscule and sort of really well presented, but you still feel like you've not eaten a meal when you leave the place.
I've had a.
Amen,
I've had a.
brother. So you're gonna make a big tub of mashed potatoes then with a fork in it.
No.
I've had a
no.
5-course meal before.
Which is it?
And it was weird.
So what I do is a nice beer battered cod, right? So keeping it simple, simple. Mushy peas, of course, because you got to go, but proper mushy peas, you know, soaked marifat peas, none of this freaking out of a tin or a packet malarkey, and chips, but chunky chips, but you need to cook them not cook them you're kind of cooking them 3 ways to get the best chips ever.
You just said you don't like fancy stuff. You're gonna cook chips.
Yeah, but they're the best chips ever. We're not talking about potato chips at this point. But you need a really good fluffy potato. So you need something like a good Cypress. Cypress are really nice and fluffy, or a good King Edward. They make good chips. And basically, what you want to do, you want to blanch them first for a couple of minutes in boiling salted
I'm asking
water.
how you're gonna cook it.
Well,
I thought
I'm just telling you so people know what I mean.
Okay.
So you blanch them first in boiling water for about 2 or 3 minutes. Then you refresh them off, so you sort of have to cool them down quick so they don't cook anymore. Then you basically sort of confit. It's called confit, which is you kind of put them in oil, but only up to about sort of 70 degrees, 80 degrees centigrade, and you do that for about an hour. So again, you're not really cooking them, but you're letting all that oil soak in. And then you finish them in really, really hot frying oil to brown them off at the end. So they're really, really good, fluffy, nice, juicy chips.
I've just sent you.
It takes about 10 minutes to make.
Have you finished, Stu, or are you still going?
Yeah, and that's it. And
I've sent you. I've sent you a video, dude. Can you play that? This is what it sounds like to me. What you just said.
All right, hang on one second.
No, you don't use Foster's beer. You need a good ale. So you need something like ale-y or bitter.
On Skype. Sorry, I was looking at my email.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
This is what Stu just sounded like to me.
Today on How They Do It, plumbuses. Everyone has a plumbus in their home. First, they take the dinglebop and they smooth it out with a bunch of schleem. Schleem is then repurposed for later batches. They take the dinglebop and they push it through the grumbo, where the fleeb is rubbed against it. It's important that the fleeb is rubbed because the fleeb has all of the fleeb juice. Then a shlami shows up and he rubs it and spits on it. They cut the fleeb. There's several hizzards in the way. The blamps rub against the chumbles, and the plubis and grumbo are shaved away. That leaves you with a regular old plumbus.
I always wondered how plumbuses got made.
There you go.
All right, we
There you
should
go.
finish Derek's speak pipe because he's only halfway done. So let's
Oh my
finish
God.
this.
And I know from listening to the veteran gamers that Stu's probably best qualified to answer this one, but I'm
Yeah,
sure
he answered and
Chinny
answered
and
it.
Duke can join in if they wish to. I believe Stu knows his way around an egg whisk and a bottle of extra virgin olive oil.
And a
Yeah, he
plebe.
does.
So I think that's really all I need to say. What would your signature dish be? So all I'll just say now is keep it spicy and keep on gaming.
All right, we're not listening to this. I cut that speak pipe off, and I don't usually do that, but no, not happening. All right, so the next 2 speak pipes, we have 2 speak pipes from will.i.am. That's right, people. You wanted him. He's back.
Zippity bow.
Here we go. The first one is 40 seconds.
Zip, zip, zippity bow, bow, bow. Hi, guys. will.i.am from The Voice UK here. I had a moment of revelation 3 days ago while drinking one of Guru Gary Dave's special potions, and I realized that life and music are all a continuous circle of inspiration. Right now, nobody is a bigger inspiration in my life right now than Duke. So I'm proud to preview here my new track from the new will.i.am album for 2017. It's in the next speak pipe. All you gotta do is hit play. Zippity bow. Okay,
Here it is.
Time to put that meditation mind power to work. Big love to Buddha for the gift of music. will.i.am is back, bigger than ever for 2017 with some fresh talent for the rap game. Here we go.
Guru Gary Dave on the MIC. I love Skyrim and bestiality. Seed of goat, dung of cat. Whack it on some bread and I'll eat that.
Okay, Gary Dave, you just made it weird. Like hands and withered sleeves, some bushy lady beards. You gotta keep it real, fix your mind on the prize. Get real low, we're gonna rim those skies. Shake your ass, for zippity bow. Front and back, I'll show you how. Cheek to cheek and eye to eye. Will and Gary Dave gonna rim those guys. That's it, baby. will.i.am and GGD coming in fresh and clean for 2017. One love to my brother Duke for inspiring all of us Skyrimmers.
Stuart, I'm eating an eclair, you naughty boy.
Before we cruise off into the sunset in our lowrider, I want to send a big final thanks to Chinny and all the other haters for their will.i.am bashing, which inspired these rough beats and even tougher tongue lashing. Zippity bow, we out.
Well,
Wow, I didn't think it was possible to be even better, but the Skyrim element makes it right over the top.
Especially for you, that Duke, I think.
I know, right? Yay! I love when people make songs about things I
I
love.
wonder what he's gonna say. He's got to make a song about you now, Stu.
I know, who knows what the hell that's going to be. I must admit, I had to listen to it twice to catch everything because he does talk about rimming and ladybeards at one point.
Let's rim those skies.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a bit of stuff in there, you know. You've got to listen to it twice.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to it 100 times. Putting that on my phone, man. I'm gonna bump that while I'm riding down the wash.
There you go. So anyway, thank you, will.i.am. It's very good to have him back. It's good to have him back. So
stuff, dude.
There you go. There you go. People asked for it, man, and that's what they got.
That's what they got.
So there you go. Right, that's it. I think we need to do some shout outs and get the hell out of here.
It's time for a shout out. Hey!
So there you go. Ginny, we'll have you first.
Dentists.
Is that it? Is that it?
I'm gonna shout out dentists and
Yeah,
everybody.
they
that,
are good. They are
Everybody
good.
that watches the Bioshock thing. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna edit that cooking video.
Yeah, so you say. So
Yeah,
you
I know
say,
you don't
so-
believe it. I can hear it in your tone.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't even know whether I want to see it, to be quite honest, but there you go.
Why?
I don't know. It was funny. Anyway, is that it for you? Are you done?
Dentists and people that watch me play Bioshock. Every Wednesday, every Thursday, I'll be streaming some shit. Zippity bow.
Zippity bow. I'm going to shout out Fraser because he got his first solo chicken dinner in PUBG.
Yay!
So huge achievement, I guess. Is that
It
big
a
achievement?
Yeah, that is a big deal. That's a massive deal.
Yeah. So well done to Fraser. You see, and he's old. He's old. He's doing all right. You know what I mean?
He's old in body, not in mind.
Obviously, he's doing well. So good on you, Fraser. So well done you. Obviously, shout out the guys at Boss Wave because they invited me on their show this week and I helped them out. So
Must have been desperate.
yeah, it was a lot of fun, to be honest. I got to speak and stuff. It was amazing. So yeah, so yeah, thank you.
Don't
to them.
get too used to it, Stu.
I know, exactly. Yeah, so big thanks to them, and yeah, it was good. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. So yeah, you can see my face on a T-shirt. I think it is, or a mug. No, it's a can.
It's a can.
Pilchard's can. Pilchard's
Yeah,
can, isn't it? With
I
cream
saw,
on
I
the top.
saw that, and I didn't realise why your face was on it. But I thought,
There you go. You see.
I'm sure I'll figure it out when I listen to it, but I haven't listened to it yet.
So there you go. So I was on there. So give it a listen. Yeah. You get a double dose of me this week for some reason if you really wanted it.
Brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. So over to you, Duke.
Yes, I will give a shout out to Antonio. We played some Rocket League, and we were supposed to play yesterday, but then he just suddenly said, "Wait, something came up," and he left, and I still don't know what happened. And condolences to him because he lost somebody close to him, so that sucks. Phil Olson gave me a heads up about a Fallout board game. Ooh, I don't know if I'd ever play it, but I will shout out my friend Max because he played Invisible Hitler or something like that. Secret Hitler was the name of the board game that we played at his house. So anyway, yeah, shout out to you two guys, and shout out to will.i.am for the awesome Skyrim song, and shout out to Procrastinator Fabulous because he's in the chat along with Cuppa and Smart.
Yeah, and he forgot to send his email, so that's why he's apologizing.
Oh well.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and everybody listen to Tuscan and all the people who are part of the Veteran Gamers crew and the VG Hub crew. We haven't given them a shout for a while, so what about VG Hub?
If you like this podcast, there is another site you should check out, which is called VGHub.net. And on there, you find a bunch of links to other video game podcasts similar in vein to ours, but different in the way they're delivered. Some have all kinds of sound effects.
Are for old people.
Some talk about
Too many, some
RPGs.
people say.
Come on now.
Some might say that.
No one says that.
Then of course you have links to great forums.
You don't have any other friends.
So check it out. VGHub.net. It is a great starting point for your podcast discovery.
That's all I got. Anybody got anything else?
Nope.
Check
That's
out
it.
the website for videos and shit. Fuck you. You can still hear me. Fuck you.
Don't make you laugh. Go to the dentist, people.
Check.
Example.
Go to the dentist for regular checkups. Don't be like me. Don't be an idiot. When your dentist says don't drink fizzy pop, don't ignore her and just go with her advice for a year and then ignore her advice. Fucks my face up forever. Did I say all that out loud?
I think you did.
Oh.
I think you might have done. How's your face now? Is it feeling any better?
Not really. It hurts.
Oh. So what did the dentist do exactly?
He looked at me and he said,
You're fucked, man.
Did he bring the nurse in to also have a laugh at you?
The other thing that I noticed when I was lying in the dentist chair, I was lying down and my fly was undone.
Ah, that's funny.
Oh,
And
no.
I was I feel like I'm at the age now where I kind of just zipped it up in front of him and I just went,
Or was
look.
it like the prisoner's dilemma? Do I zip it up and he sees me, or do
No,
I
I
just
just zipped it up. I didn't even think about it. I just zipped it up and I just went, look, like I forgot to zip it up. It's not like I pissed in your fucking waiting room.
My willy was hanging out.
Do you know what I mean? Like, man up.
I mean, I did piss in your waiting room. It had nothing to
I
do
mean, I
with that.
did, like, but that's not, why you jump into those conclusions?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I
You
just,
can prove that's my urine.
I feel like that's the
Now-
difference between being 18 and 31, is that like, I can zip up my fly without being embarrassed anymore.
Yeah.
It's
So
over.
anyway, you asked for it. You said I had to wait till the end of the show, but I'm going to explain to you, Duke, in the UK how cherished plates work, just so you understand.
Wow, he's really gonna go for this.
It's only quick. It's only very quick. It doesn't take a lot of explaining.
Okay.
Spoke of his honor the faster we started counting our spoons. Go ahead.
Exactly. So the way that cherished plates or personalized plates work is you don't choose what you want. It basically already exists. So what happens is the DVLA will issue number plates, and every now and again, one comes out that looks like either a name or initials. Most of them are very, very, very old. So they're off cars from, say, like the 1920s or 1930s, when you only had like a few numbers and letters on the number plate. So that's why the really expensive ones look like they do. But when you buy one, you don't own it. You don't ever own the personalized plate. The DVLA always owns that registration number. All you pay for is the privilege of having it on your car.
That's crazy. So
But
if
that's
I
how-
so okay, when I was a kid, my dad gave me a collection of pens, and I remember there were 20 of them. There was only one of them I ever used, and it was number 15. So if I wanted a license plate that said pen 15, I couldn't just say, hey, I want this license plate.
No, you could find one possibly.
Wow, that's crazy.
So that's how it works in the UK. Yeah, you can't just choose something to have on your car. It has to be a registered registration plate.
That's nuts.
But the only reason I know that is my wife
Just
used to
stand
work
in
with
line until the plate you want shows up.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, some of them are really, really expensive. Obviously, the less letters and numbers you have, the more expensive the registration plate is.
Well, I want pen 15.
Get
it?
Yeah, I get it. It's penis stew.
Yeah, I get you. I've just realised.
With an elaborate story, it was hilarious.
It was.
We hit a milestone this week.
We did.
Milestone.
We got 500 subscribers on YouTube.
Dang.
Wow, that's good.
How many do we have on Twitch?
I got like 530 on Twitch, I think, something like that. Yeah.
Thank you, followers. You're idiots.
Yeah.
All of you.
So we get 534 on Twitch. We hit 500 on.
Worship us. Give us money. We should set up a Patreon. I don't want to do advertising, but if we could have a way for people to just send us money for no reason, shit, why not?
Some podcasts do that.
I know, right? Some people on Twitter are just like, "Here's my Patreon." It's like, and it's funny because it's always like the fascists. Every time I see somebody with a white supremacy thing, it's like, "You can give me money." I'm like, "Why should anybody give you money?" That's ridiculous.
Well, you know the stuff that happened in with the white supremacist thing. There was a march in Wolverhampton with some Nazi people, and then there was a counter thing, and they were throwing eggs at each other, which is very British. You know what I mean? It's like in America they just like kill them. But in Britain,
into each other, murder each
yeah, they just like.
But up there, it's
I
like,
would. I would throw an egg at him. That's what show him.
It's the coolest thing about it is I saw this old guy tweeted, and right there, an old guy tweeting, but he said, I fought against fascists, 50 years ago, and I'll fight them again if I have to. And I was like, yes, that's so cool.
So, yeah, there's that was really local to me. That stuff. I don't know. I just
weird shit.
But like, I look at the people arguing with them. You know, the people are like, oh, you're disgusting. Like, why? Because they were shouting at all these sort of young, Muslim lads, and they were shouting back. And in that situation, no one's gonna win. Do you know what I mean?
I was just gonna say, no one wins.
Exactly. What are you gonna do? I mean, what's the point of? It's like when the Klan comes and before Donald Trump became president, there was a different context for white supremacists protesting in the United States. But the question is, like, what's the appropriate response? Because if you fight against them, you're giving them more attention.
They love
if you
it.
Ignore, feel like you're just letting it happen, and that's not okay. You don't want to bite your tongue when this stuff comes up. But
yeah,
I don't think there is a good answer in terms of what's the best way to respond.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, there's like this thing on Facebook. There's like, oh, women shouldn't wear hijabs. I'm like, I think some of them look quite nice. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, what difference does it make to anybody?
Yeah, it's weird. But like I was seeing these people sort of argue against the sort of the white supremacy, the people, and I was like, he's not gonna have a revelation there. Do you know what I mean?
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of it.
You know what? They
guys,
are.
You can have your swastikas back. I'm done.
They are a human being. I never noticed that actually, and just because they're different, I shouldn't be scared and threatened. Thank you very much, random person sharing at me in the face. I just, it just kind of makes me feel a bit like, why are you trying to convince him? Like,
it's weird because it's the thing of like I have heard from people who are like ex-hate groups, and like the same way I've heard from interviews, not personally, but interviews with people who are they were Muslim terrorists, and they talk about what got them out of the extremist position, the extremist community. And it's never one thing, it's like it's a number of things. Yeah. American History X obviously is a very dramatic form of that story where the person realized it's like, oh, this isn't actually making my life better. But it's tough because there's always a lot of different things that get people to come out of that. But one thing I've heard a lot is that most people who are involved in the Klan or Nazi groups, they've tended to have experienced some horrible trauma in their personal lives. So a lot of them were abused as children or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And only when people get healed, I think, do they realize like, hey, this hatred isn't making my life better. So.
Have you ever seen This Is England, Duke?
No, I've heard that I need to see it, but I haven't.
Yeah, you should definitely watch This Is England.
And the TV shows were good as
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Well-
they're both obviously based around that sort of storyline. So
Yeah.
Saw Romper
Yeah.
Stomp. Remember that? So,
yeah,
That's good.
Australian, wasn't it?
yeah, it was.
So,
All right, folks.
Yeah,
That's-
can I? By the way, can I just
Oh,
apologise for the weirdness earlier?
No, I don't think you need to apologize for the weirdness. I think here's the thing. I'll say I've stopped recording, so whatever. I don't know if I'm gonna cut the stream or not, but no. I mean that's the thing. I think here's the thing. The way I look at it, we like a lot of guys tend to interact with each other by taking the piss, and a lot of times when I'm setting up a joke, or I know Chinny, you've done this, setting up a joke by saying, all right, guys, I want to be serious. That sometimes is the best way to start a joke because then people are serious and then you can be joking. That makes it hard for us to actually have a heartfelt conversation about something where we don't want joking to happen. But even as that's the case, I think in the future, maybe if you were to start with, guys, I want you to know this has a personal impact for me. So, I don't know. That might have kept me from making jokes about sound quality and calling it a minor aesthetic detail because I can tell in that context, Stu, for you that's not a minor aesthetic detail, but for me that's what it sounded like. So it was just a difference of where I was coming from and where you were coming from. That's all.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
I'm glad we to have that second part of it. I'm glad you kept going with it because I am glad to hear about that, and I am sorry that you had to go through that. That does sound like a difficult thing. I mean, was that all your life when you were growing up, or was that just
from about 11 years old, I guess.
That must have been really hard.
Yeah, it was. It's weird now because it's sort of she's dead now. She died. Sadly, she had she had 2 strokes.
Oof.
But when I went to the funeral, are you still streaming, by the way, Ginny?
Do you want me to stop streaming?
Yeah, if you could stop, please.
Say goodbye,
That's
everyone.
Yeah, bye everyone.
Stream.